Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of Express Lane, the show that brings you speedruns in 60 minutes or less. I'm your host, Oscar424, and this is a bunny. Bunny's cute. I also have my corgi hoes currently sleeping, who are Galahad and Freya, and it's kind of sad that they're sleeping right now because they're going to be missing out on some really awesome animal-based runs today. So looking at the list, we have Crypt Custodian, which has the cutest cat custodian. We have Goat Simulator 3 Multiverse of Nonsense, which is going to be as completely unhinged as you would expect it to be. And to start it off, we have the coolest cat on the stream right now, which is Strain. We are going to be watching Draga do any percent of this run. So Draga, hello, how are you?
As Super said, this is straight any percent. It's a super cool run. There's a lot of cool tricks, a lot of out of bounds, a lot of skips, and some very cool movements to go along with it. For this one, I'm joined by the wonderful Mr. Jonathan. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello. I'm glad to be here. I started out on glitchless, but I also know this category quite a bit about it, so I'm just going to help explain some things along the way and try to keep it lighthearted, you know.
Okay, awesome. So let's get into the run. I'm going to start a new game. Time will start in, let's say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So we start off the game here with some basically some movement tutorial stuff. We're going to have 3 cats we have to interact with here, and we're going to do it in a specific order of going to the right one first, and then the one straight in front of us, and then the one to the left of us. And that's the fastest order. Going the other way loses about a second. So let's... Here it's going to be basically introducing movements, interacting with stuff in the environment, which is a very important part of the run.
I'm showing off some nice graphics already.
So this is cat number 1 here. As we get some very lovely cat animations here, very accurate to real world cats as well.
And then cat number 2, I can never ignore it because it looks just like my cat. Same colors.
And this final cat, this final cat actually has something for chats.
Chat, prepare for a bath. That's all I gotta say.
Hi there, chat. Hi there. There you go. That's that cat's gift to chats.
Everyone's clean.
So the third skip of the run is coming up here. It's just called nap skip because the game wants us to go and nap there with the rest of the cats. We're not going to be doing that. We're going to get stuck in an endless loop here, so we can't actually go to the trigger to activate the cutscene here. So as the game fades to black, the game doesn't know what to do. Basically, it just gives us back control as the cutscene isn't meant to be playing. So we can go over to this pipe here, get into it, and clip through.
Nice.
Okay, and I can breathe. Okay, that was
actually perfect. Yeah. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Well
done. You can see here, this game has a very important button, which is the dedicated meow button. As I think all games should have a dedicated meow button, regardless of if they have a cat or not. And you're also going to be seeing here, this game has a macro which is allowed for the use in runs. And so I have Meow bound to my mouse wheel up button. And then I have the macro which lets me do about 2,000 mouse wheel up inputs a second. So effectively I can do 2,000 meows per second. And that's going to be, it's actually used for a couple of different things throughout the run. And then I also have a help button bound to mouse wheel down. So I can also do 2,000 sort of help interactions per second, which is going to be used for some of the skips throughout the run.
That's quite a lot of meows there.
2,000, yeah. That's a very, very suitable amount of meows. 2,000
Also, the cats have not followed us, but they're going to appear here because they just magically teleport.
We skipped the trigger to make the cats move forward, but they're still here in the cutscene. It would be tragic if we somehow got separated from them now.
Yeah, it would be tragic.
Yeah.
I sure hope we don't.
Oh.
Whoever made that pipe needs to do better next time.
I expect better of them. Yeah.
That pipe cannot handle 2,000 meows right there.
But everyone, it's all right. Cat's fun. There's no harm.
9 lives.
Cats
and
don't take fall damage.
Cats have 9 lives and all that. We're fine. Yeah.
I wouldn't say land on their feet, but this one did not.
No.
Yeah, so okay.
So this is our main area of the game, the underground city, and the main aim of the game from this point on is going to be looking for a way to escape this city. In the cutscene that's coming up, we're about to see, I guess, the sort of main villain of this game, which are called Zurks, which are sort of mutated bacteria that now have infested the city. And you're about to see one just scuttled across the ground in a second.
You can see this little bag shaking back and forth.
Yeah. And it's going to activate the door and scuttle across the ground. There it is.
How convenient. How convenient of them to just let us in.
Right?
Okay, so Dead City introduces some more of the main sort of platforming mechanics and also the other main element of the game, which is puzzle solving. One big thing about this game that you might notice is that it doesn't really have any sort of HUD or any sort of directions or anything. All of the sort of, how you know where to go is all built into the environment. And the game does a sort of excellent job. As we get a big title card here declaring that we are in the Dead City. So it's all done through sort of environmental clues saying where to go, and it's all very expertly done, so you never get lost and always know where to go, like this sign here, which is telling us that we should probably go in this direction.
Yeah, for sure. Casual playthrough, you're not going to have any trouble knowing where to go. If you saw, the Zurks seem to be scared of us for the time being.
This is the first puzzle of the game. We need to pick up this bucket. And, I missed the pipe. Use it to get up here and then use it to block this fan so that we can get through. I'm going to try for a very small skip here. We have to push this paint can off the ledge, and if you're... that might not work. If you're angled correctly, you can get...
that looks good. Oh, no.
That's unfortunate. If you're angled correctly, you can get 3 pushes off the paint can, and it actually takes the cats off the edge. So it avoids you having to go around the normal way like I had to do there. It saves maybe half a second or so. It's very minor.
This section, though, definitely, you can just skip this jump scare completely.
Yeah.
If you just hold back as soon as the trigger starts. Don't get knocked back at all.
You meant to interact. You meant to interact with the robot there, but you can also just ignore him, which is what we're going to do. Okay, this is the first chase sequence of the run. And this is where the 2,000 meows per second is first going to become noticeable. Because to shake off Zurks in the game, that button is the meow button. And so normally you have to sort of mash it to get rid of the Zurks, but just by holding down our meow button, we can just shake them off instantly. And so these chase sequences aren't really a worry for us in the speedrun.
Yeah, I will say for sure these chase sections are much harder in the casual playthrough.
For sure. Yeah, there's an achievement for completing this particular chase sequence without getting grabbed onto by a Zurk once. And that is not an easy achievement to get.
Yeah.
I love how it looks like the Zurks are just completely bouncing off of it.
Yeah.
Lose like 1 frame if
if they jump onto you, you lose 1 whole frame. So yeah, it's definitely not worth.
Still our frames.
So
Good
yeah, it's definitely not worth trying to avoid them for one frame of time loss.
Yeah. Run straight through. There is a good chance that we're going to see a slow ledge climb here. It seems to happen a lot here. Unless, okay. But there's a chance if you jump from too far away, the cat will like slip on the ledge and...
Very nice.
Yeah, it loses maybe a second. Those particular jumps there, for some reason, are particularly prone to getting a sort of slip. Take this barrel and use it to get up here.
Yeah, we just know how barrels work, from instinct, apparently.
And get onto here. At this upcoming platforming bit, there's a small chance you can get a boost that saves about a second. That's quite rare, and I didn't get it in that case. That's fine. There were a few of them throughout the run, and only one of them, to my knowledge, is actually consistent. The other ones just kind of happen sometimes.
Oh, and then also here, if you're still somehow not sure where to go, you can meow, and the lights will light up to show you.
Ooh, I like that.
If you didn't see the 10 others, arrows and signs everywhere.
Okay, we're going to grab a battery here to turn off the fan, and that'll be the end of the Dead City chapter as we head into the flats.
And then I'm sure everyone's cat has done this at least once.
Yeah.
Go on the keyboard.
Yep.
And
Also, you can meow with this camera to make it.
yeah, if you meow, the camera nods at you.
Nice.
So we need to put input 3. It doesn't actually matter what characters you put in. Each needs to input a certain amount of characters into the keyboard, and then the door opens. And then
this is least favorite. Yeah, I was gonna say least favorite movement section, definitely, because you have to be pretty much like spot on where you place these, or they just refuse to work properly.
like that.
But yeah, good example.
So there are four batteries here we need to put into their particular sockets. Come on. And then this door will open. There's a small cutscene here, but we still retain control during the cutscene, so we can move over here and get some of the platforming done slightly before we pick up B12, who's going to be our main companion throughout the game.
B12, former scientist, turns out.
Yes.
Research on this stuff.
Yeah, so in the city, there aren't really any proper humans anymore. There were just these robots, and but B12 is he's sort of a toy robot who's had the consciousness of a human, a human scientist before the Zerks took over, sort of implanted his consciousness into B12. And he's going to be accompanying us throughout the game, and he's going to be serving several functions. He's going to translate robot speech. He's going to, in a casual playthrough, he would also have a collectible tied to him. In the speedrun, we never actually pick up any of the collectibles at all. But the other big function of the meow button, as we're about to see, is skipping dialogue is tied to the meow button. And so by using it, we can just skip past dialogue instantly, like this.
Yeah, if you was wanting to read any dialogue,
yeah, this is not the run for you.
Not the chance to see that. B12 comes with, he gives us inventory, and he has a built-in flashlight as well.
Nice. And in true cat fashion, the cat's like, I don't like this thing on my back right now.
No, this code is the same every time.
Yeah,
this is the only code that we have to remember. So
yeah.
Nice.
So here's a fun fact about leaderboards in this game. It's actually fully determined by how fast you can spin the cat. And how fast you beat the game doesn't actually matter. It's just about how fast you can spin the cat.
Spin percent.
Yeah.
He's gonna do a cutscene skip here on the frame of this. He's gonna line up with the bottle here. All right, nice.
Yeah. So
it would be frame perfect, but with the macro, it's not.
Yeah, you have to, so B12 has a help function, and you have to hit his help function on the exact frame that's, well, you have to be holding down his help button on the exact frame that the cutscene starts, but with the macro, because it does 2,000 per second, it's not nearly as bad as it actually sounds. Like, it's not actually frame perfect in any sense. That cutscene skip is actually the hardest in the run, and it's actually like noticeably harder than every other cutscene skip in the game. All of the other ones are fairly easy peasy.
So these robots, they are freaking out because they don't know what we are. They haven't seen anything like this other than themselves. They're all panicking. Yeah. Oh, he picked up the postcard back there because we need to give it to this next robot here.
Yeah, and so usually this would be in a big open area with a lot of sort of side missions and a lot to do. We're going to be doing by far the biggest skip in the run in this level. So the glitchless run is about 30 minutes slower than the any percent run. And 20 of those 30 minutes is accounted for by the skip we're about to do. It is a massive skip.
Wow.
It's going to skip 3 chapters.
Yeah, 3 whole chapters we're not going to be seeing in this one.
I can go ahead and explain that.
Yeah.
It's called sleep paralysis, and you'll see why, because the cat is kind of having like an out-of-body experience in a way. It's going to be flying around. But this is also the only time where he needs to change the frame rate, lower it to 30 for this to work properly.
Yeah, frame rate affects other stuff in the run, but this is the only time when it's absolutely required to change the frame rates. It's required to do the sleep paralysis skip.
And then normally after this, we're going to have to, I've been told to collect notebooks and go find someone named Momo, but we don't need to do any of that, it turns out, so.
So we give the postcard to Guardian here, and he tells us to go find Momo. We are not going to be doing that. We're going to be heading over to this building over here. And then...
So clip through this door by hitting interact twice really fast.
What?
Yeah. And he needs to reset the checkpoint right here to ensure this works properly. This is very specific. He needs to be on the exact right coordinate on the map, or this will not work.
That looks good.
It looked fine.
It worked, okay. So you can see here the cat's now sort of glitching out with the floor. And we're going to be using this, like we can see here, we're just under the floor now. So we're going to be heading over to this robot, and he's going to just
straight to the legs,
throw us completely back through the map, which lets us...
Now what he's doing here also is he's going under this door that doesn't usually open until like the next 3 chapters.
And then change my FPS back, and then it's a loading trigger.
Checkpoint. Yep.
Yeah.
Need to put out here.
Yeah, so that unlocks the 8th chapter. Midtown is the 4th chapter, and we've just unlocked the 8th chapter, but we need to restart the chapter because the game sort of thinks we haven't done the prerequisites. But if we just reload the chapter, the game then just sort of goes, oh, well, in that case, you must have done everything. We'll let you progress.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you've already done everything. Awesome. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And we get a new B12 add-on here, UV light, which can zap the Zerks to pop them like popcorn, pretty much.
Yeah, the point of or a large aim of the previous few chapters was to put together this light which can take out Zerks. But we just have it from the restart chapter we did. As I said, the game just sort of assumes we've done everything, and so we can now just use this UV light thing. We can talk with, this is Momo. Again, we never really see him properly in the speedrun, but he is another robot companion that would usually he'd be a larger part of the story. But
if he looks up really quickly, you can see.
Oh yes. There you go. Yeah,
Zerk infection is growing very fast this time.
Yeah, that's why we needed the UV lights in the context of the story, is because the sewers are very Zerk infested, and we needed it to protect ourselves. in the speed run, we can actually just use the macro again, and so Zerks pose very little threat to us, but the game gives us the UV light anyway as a backup.
Yeah, just a backup in case your 2,000 meows are not working properly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and showcase this here, how they are affected by this UV light.
Yeah.
They just get completely shredded.
Wow.
Yeah,
All right.
piece of cake.
Yeah, so those sort of pods spawn more of them if you step on them or shine the UV lights on them.
In this area, there is a few Zerks lurking around on the roof, but they're not of any threat.
Just up there were more
Kind of
Zerks.
jumping around.
Yeah, and Johnny Sam pointed this out to me, which I didn't know before this. If you use mods to get up onto that pipe, you can actually like stand on it and walk around on it.
Yeah, there's quite a few areas like that out of bounds that still have like the collision.
Yeah. Where these Zerks are
Can't
unfortunately
quite reach.
just outside of our UV light range.
If you want to see what B12 says really quickly too
Oh yeah.
about
There you
sense
go.
of smell.
If we want to get to these other folks, we need to go through the sewers. Times like these, I'm happy I have no sense of smell. You know, I concur.
But
Cannot smell the game. We're safe.
I'd say while you're heading over to the next section, just remember, everybody that are watching right now, head to gamesdonquick.com/hotfix if you want to check out the season's lineup, check out the schedule for this week and the following weeks, and just a general in-depth look of all of this week's runs. I've been really enjoying this stray run. It's been so cute and easily the most wholesome like intro I have ever seen in my entire life. So yeah.
Okay, going to be interacting with Momo here, and this is actually the last we'll see of Momo until the very, very final cutscene.
I know Drago was hoping for an epic comeback, but didn't quite happen.
It sets him up here like he's gonna come back and rescue in some epic fashion, and it just never happens, and it just it disappoints me, my casual playthrough. But this
no villain arc.
No. Yeah, that's the last we see of Momo.
Aww.
Okay.
There's going to be a little running section after this, and then there's going to be a...
if you want to explain the water run while I'm doing
let's
this.
go on that way.
Yeah.
This next skip is the only skip that is not guaranteed to work, no matter how much you practice, no matter how much you line everything up properly. It's still one of those things, I'll have to call it a coin flip, because it pretty much is. The game would just decide more or less 50-50 if it wants to let you do it or not. And he's going to skip under a door, and he's going to skip a cutscene, so it's definitely one of the more big time saves as well.
Yeah, it saves about 40 seconds, but if that is not consistent, nobody, like, people have tested 1,000 different things, and nobody really knows what makes it work.
Yeah, my setup has changed, I don't even know how many times.
Yeah.
Just to try to hope that it works better a certain way, but it's just...
Yeah, we have another chase. We have another chase.
The only RNG.
Yeah. We have another chase sequence here. Well, it's not really meant to be a chase sequence. You're meant to be using our purple light to take out the Zerks, but we can just treat it like a chase sequence because we can just run past them all and meow away any Zerks that happen to jump on us.
Mm-hmm. There is an achievement to do this entire chapter without killing any Zerks as well.
Which I don't actually have, even though I can very easily get it.
So here we're gonna hope that the water run wants to cooperate. He's gonna line up with the pipe on the bottom. He's gonna look at another pipe in front of this barrel when he jumps on it, and it's gonna hopefully let him walk in the water.
Let's go. First try.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
So this is we are running in the water, hence the name Water Run. We clip through that gate, and that alone doesn't actually save a huge heap of time. The really big time save actually from this trick comes from the fact that by doing this jump, we skip a cutscene, which is about 40 seconds long.
I am so glad that worked first try. That is It's the only randomness, and it worked fine. So
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work the first try, do you just reload the checkpoint?
Yeah.
Yes.
again, or-
That's the only way
Yeah.
to-
What
you can't- yeah.
what happens if it doesn't
Gotcha.
work is that you get stuck on the pipe, and if you jump off the pipe, you just get teleported back to it, and you're soft locked essentially.
and when your time gets really good, that's when that happens. It's just
Yeah, it's
just
a
reset.
major run killer. Yeah.
Another hold W section.
Yeah,
We're
so
completely not harmed.
In the cutscene we skipped, B12 is meant to be sort of broken. And if you listen carefully, the cat's meows actually have a different sound here because the cat's meant to be holding B12 in its mouth. And in this section, you can also, if you're careful, you can see that there are actually 2 B12s here. There's going to be the one on the floor, and then there's also still one on the cat in the cat's backpack.
He has a twin,
Yeah.
identical twin. I don't know if you mentioned earlier, but after that skip, you had to reload checkpoint to
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, to prevent a soft lock.
Same thing here at the very end of this chapter. We're gonna have to quit out to the main menu again
Yeah.
for the same reason.
And
Not really a whole lot going on in Ant Village, but there is one cutscene skip he's gonna do at the very start here.
yeah, there's more. There's a lot of collectibles and side stuff to do here, but we're just going to be running straight past it all. So that's the second cutscene skip of the run. And
You're gonna need to open B12 again when he climbs this ledge here.
yeah, because otherwise there's a cutscene we need to trigger here, and B12 sort of going through a realization period right now. He's sort of realizing the fact that he was a human before he was put into this robot. And so we have to activate his dialogue there with that cutscene to trigger.
Yeah, he has kind of a neuron activation, like
Yeah.
core memory unlocked.
Jeez.
There's just a lot of parkour in the run. There's just
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
a very, very small chance of another booster. No, that's unfortunate. That one's really quite rare. Saves.
now, why couldn't these pops be like the ones in the first of the game? They
Yeah.
were fine.
Yeah.
But then I guess there wasn't many games, so
No.
Yeah, true.
he's gonna hold W here because supposedly it makes this black screen not fade out as long.
Supposedly it does make the it's a load
It's a
faster.
very minor thing, but. And he's going to do yet another cutscene skip at the top of the stairs. This is the easiest one for some reason.
Yeah.
It's very lenient.
So this is Midtown, and this train here is the focal points of the next few chapters. We're going to be looking for a battery and then the keys to get that train functioning to hopefully take us to the control room to hopefully find a way out of the city. To get the battery, we need to infiltrate a factory. And to infiltrate the factory, we need to get 2 pieces of clothing, which are going to act as a disguise. We're going to do a skip here to get the first item of clothing really easily. We're going to clip through that gate and then pick up the hat that we need without actually having to do. Yeah.
Yeah, that saves quite a bit because the guy won't let you in normally. You have to sneak into a box, and it's quite a long process.
Yeah.
Nice.
That I like to call cat in the hat because that's basically what you're doing. Cat in the hat skip.
Then there are 3 cameras here that we need to destroy. The other piece of clothing is a jacket, and we just have to get that the normal way. But we also have to interact with a character called Clementine here. And so just through some optimal pathing, we take out the cameras just before we interact with her.
That is before she tries to assault us
Yeah.
with a Pixar lamp. But
Oh, you weren't kidding. That is a Pixar.
that's what I've always thought. that's my head canon at least. He's going to open this little cabinet for later on when we need to return here.
Interact with Clementine.
That was one of the things I wanted to make sure I said. He's broke all 3 cameras, and this robot is going to give us a cassette tape. We need to get the jacket now, which he's going to use this to play a radio to distract the store owner then we're gonna sneak by and steal the jacket. You know, I really thought robots would like this kind of music, like dubstep, but
Yeah, I guess not.
I don't know. I mean, he's got his hands over his ears, so he's not liking it.
So this is the person whom is going to sneak us into the factory. We just had to give him the clothing, and then he's gonna dress up and
It's gonna do a very little skip there, jumping into the box before the dialogue is completely over.
just skips the animation of having to jump into the box afterwards. It saves a half a second or something, very minor.
This guy's name was Blazer. Can you guess why? He was wearing a blazer.
Of course.
He has also 2 gold chains on. It's not hard to miss.
I like how these robots are being all like safety first with the hard hats and the high vis vests.
Yeah.
So he's distracting as a worker. I mean, he's posing as a worker here to just try to sneak in, and you just got you baited. Yep. There's totally not a cat in that box or anything. Didn't even look.
It's Metal Gear Snake.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid is not like Metal Gear Stray.
Yeah. This is actually meant to be a whole stealth sequence here, but these sentinels here, they're never going to shoot us. We can just run past them all. We're just going to
go too fast.
Yeah, we're just going to let ourselves be spotted by all of them, and the sentinels never actually shoot you, as long as you know the correct path.
Now, you can meow to distract them, but there's really no need.
That's more important in the level after this. But yeah, for this level, does not matter. We can just be spotted by them all we want, and doesn't matter.
They have ADHD. They can only follow us for so long, and they just give up.
Yeah. Alright, we're going to get into this battle, and then there were 3 buttons here that we need to push down. That's the battery stored in there, and there were 3, or at least usually there will be 3 buttons you have to hold down to gain access to the battery. We're going to be doing a skip so that we only have to hold down 2 of the buttons. So we use these robots. So we
Roombas.
Here we are.
Get Roombas to hold down button 1, and then get the second one to follow us.
And you would normally have to use the barrel to place on the last one, but we're going to just put ourselves on the last one to lower it down.
As it comes
aim
down.
for the middle of the barrel, and then...
Ooh, that's unfortunate. That's fine.
He's going to be able to grab it quickly before it goes back up.
There we go.
There you go.
Nice.
Who needs barrel when you have cat?
Right? Cat is a strong weapon. I mean,
Yeah. We get more cat spinning, which,
More
as
spins.
may I remind you,
Every bucket has its own category now.
and may I remind you, the bucket is actually what the leaderboard is based off of, rather than actually being
course.
game passed.
Bucket percent.
Yeah.
the auto splitter actually tracks number of rotations.
Yeah.
Number of spins, the speed, and everything. So there's police slides here. There's a bunch of chaos because they have caught on to our little game here. They have noticed that we're doing some behind the scenes stuff here we shouldn't be doing. But they didn't program the turrets that good, so slide right past.
So in this next section, there were 4 notes that we need to interact with, because Clementine has abandoned her room, and she's left hints around the room to let us know where she's going. And it's the same spot every time, but the game won't let us actually go to the place we need to go to unless we interact with all of the notes. In the any % speedrun, we never end up actually going to a hiding place anyway, but we still have to interact with all of them anyway.
Yeah, we get all these hints on where to go, and then we just don't go.
Yeah. I restarted a checkpoint there, which isn't strictly necessary, but it resets that sentinel's pathing, because otherwise he can spot you, and he does actually pose a threat if he spots you.
Yeah, there's a good chance you're just insta dead there if you don't do that. And this would be what I would call cat jam, because we're supposed to go to this nightclub, but we're not. So we're going to trick the game to making it think that we are in the nightclub by getting the checkpoint for it, which is going to deload the area out here.
Yeah, and there's a small
Setting
ledge.
up for the next part.
Yeah, there's a small ledge on the outside that you can jump onto, and the game expects us to be in the nightclub right now, so it deloads the area outside, and we can. Oh, I'm gonna have to redo that. We can fall through the floor here and get access.
There is a faster way where you can land on this barrel down there, but it's not safe to do. It's
very scary.
Yeah, if you fail, then that's it.
That was cool.
Yeah. And so
he was supposed to be locked up.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to lose B12 and everything, but we just completely avoided all that.
Yeah, and we also skipped the entire nightclub section by doing that.
He's going to look to the left. That's what pro gamers do.
Yeah.
Good job.
So that's Clementine, who's been locked up. The game, because of Cat Jam, we're not meant to have B12 in this section. He's meant to be locked up as well, and the game doesn't expect us to have him here. And we're going to be using him to do a little bit of trickery and do some small skips here with Clementine and her AI. But first, we need to pick up the key to free her.
Yeah, let's just say Clementine's AI isn't
Not the finest,
programs.
no. So
But interacting with her does speed it up, the whole process quite a bit.
Yeah, as soon as she starts moving, I'm going to interact with her with B12. And for some reason, she actually has dialogue with B12 here, even though you're not meant to have B12 here. And interacting with her there gets her to start moving instantly, because usually she sort of looks around for a few seconds.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Yeah.
This is the intended way.
It's not a Zerk, it's a cat.
Then I need to be looking at her to get her to move, and
she likes to stop and just look, but as long as you keep going where you want her to, she'll usually follow you.
There we go. So even though we already have B12 with us, there's another imposter B12. And the game, I'd say it is an imposter B12 in the canon. It is not the real B12, but the game still makes us rescue him anyway. And so again, you can see here in the cat's backpack, there are actually two B12s right now. One in the cat's backpack, and then the B12 locked in the cage down there.
Well, wouldn't that be three? Because there was another one earlier. Maybe there's another one among us.
Yeah. As soon as this cutscene ends, I'm going to use B12 to interact with Clementine again. And that will get her to open this door from really far away, so not actually standing next to the door.
Oh.
Someone said B14 because there's an extra.
Well, we have B12, then we had C13, now we have D14.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just kidding.
She kind of just teleported through the wall because this is where the cutscene is supposed to start.
So this is a very, or can be a very scary section because of all of the glitches we've been doing. If you die in this section, the game soft locks. I have safety saves in the event that happens, but during PB attempts, this is quite a scary section.
No, the laser can't actually kill him. It just knocks him back.
That's an example of the Meow. Ooh.
Like that. You got a boost.
Should be okay.
Laser boost.
Okay. We're okay. Okay.
That was
Fun.
Now this is supposed to be a cutscene, but he can still move and actually make it all the way here before it's over.
Nice.
And then pick up the imposter B12. And as soon as I jump through this window, okay, we're good from here. The game cannot soft lock from now on, thankfully.
Awesome.
Good work. So we're just gonna act like we just got rid of this other one because we don't need an extra. Dispose of him. Now he's gonna have to reload here to make the game continue properly.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, Clem will just stand there forever and just not go anywhere.
Sometimes she can just stand there, even
Sometimes
after.
still can.
Yeah.
But there you go.
In one of my practice ones, I had to restart checkpoint 3 times before she started moving. But that's the most I've ever had to do that. Usually she starts moving as soon as you reload checkpoint.
There is a faster way. Okay, she's going to break this window, and there is a faster way to do this jump. And there has been a consistent, a strat found, but
Yeah. I am not sure of it yet, so I'm going to do the regular strat here.
it's only like a second and a half maybe.
You can just, you don't have to wait for Clementine to stand up there. You can just jump up instantly.
And I think now we decided we have enough. We're going to put someone else locked up now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to bait these turrets into the cells. He's going to quickly trap them, turn around.
And nice, okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's just barely made it, but yeah.
The Sentinel's AIs are also not the greatest. And that Sentinel in particular does not like to go into the cage, even if it's given like a direct path into it.
Ironically, the next section with 2 turrets is actually easier.
Yeah, it's more consistent, yeah. So,
there is a chance you can get shot at, but usually not actually shot.
yeah, it's very rare.
Their shots just kind of go everywhere.
Get both Sentinel's attention, activate the door. Do that route, and we're good. Okay.
Very nice.
Got him.
So there are some other like robot inmates you can interact with here, but of course we're just gonna wait for Clementine to open the door and move straight on.
Seeing a constant trend of us having to open doors for others.
Yeah.
Like the whole game. just because we are what we are, we can fit anywhere.
Right?
You're gonna have to alert. So she wouldn't have noticed this car, obviously, unless we went over here. And
Of course not.
keys,
No. So we have to alert her to the car, and she selfishly decides she should be the one driving instead of us.
Shaking my head.
Yeah.
Rude. Cats can totally drive cars.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's a
what
real and
yeah.
true fact. Yeah.
Just wait till you see her driving.
Oh no.
You might have wished it was the cat driving.
No.
Oh, what did I just say about opening doors for her?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, so this is meant to be another chase sequence, but if you're fast enough, you can actually jump back onto the car before the chase sequence like properly activates.
I wouldn't necessarily call this a trick because most people can probably just do this in their first playthrough.
Yeah,
If they just run a straight line and jump.
I did that in my casual playthrough. I didn't know there was meant to be a chase sequence there. So you're meant to be chased by Zerks all throughout that tunnel, but you can jump on the car before it actually gets into the tunnel, and it skips that sequence.
I mean, I will cut her some slack. She's being chased and there's a lot going on, but she is just spinning out of control.
Yeah, I mean, then down narrow streets, it's it's understandable. Okay, so finally, Clementine's about to give us the keys to the train. And so with the battery that we picked up in Midtown, we can finally activate the train and move on to the final level of the game, which is the control room.
And hopefully find a way to free everyone. Open the city back, maybe. Now, you're not going to be able to see it, but the cat does actually get to drive the train here. They just don't show it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the redemption.
They don't show it because they're saving it for future games.
Yeah, it's the sequel. But that's the cat's redemption for not getting to drive the car. They let it drive the train instead.
Multiplayer cat racing game.
It's the next issue of Train Simulator Stray Edition.
Yeah. It's the new competitor to Mario Kart.
This music, by the way.
Yeah.
I really like this music.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
This is when you know you're on a good run right here. You hear this?
So activate the train, use the keys on it, and the train is activated. And as said, it is currently the cat operating the train. He is a fully, trained train driver. And
Trained train driver.
trained. I said trained. Then I was like, I'm just gonna have to roll with it now.
So if you had to teach the instructor how to teach training, would that be a train the train trainer?
I think it would be, yeah.
Some train inception right there. Here we are. We're finally arrived at our
At the final
stop.
level control room.
He's gonna do some more spins, just to add up his leaderboards.
Yeah.
This isn't quite a bucket,
course.
but I mean,
It counts, yeah.
it counts. Yeah.
It's somewhat bucket shaped.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna do some on this first staircase. He's gonna do a little of a stair skating, is what I would call, or stair boost. For some reason, it only works on this staircase and none others.
Look at it at a particular angle and get a boost.
Oh,
Yeah, so it doesn't work on these railings for whatever reason. Just that one sort of
found that
thing.
very weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, one last room boat to save the day right here. It's gonna help us go through this. It's gonna help us basically activate no clip, and we're gonna clip straight to this door without having to activate anything. It's gonna jump and it's gonna
You use it to clip right through that door.
right through. And he's gonna do the last cutscene skip at this yellow line.
And then this upcoming sequence, or bit of movement, is my second least favorite bit of movement in the game. We have to activate some keyboards for B12. And if you accidentally step on a keyboard you're not meant to, it's just very, very finicky and annoying to recover from, basically. Get up there. So, keyboards. Okay, should be okay.
Yeah,
There
so
we go.
I've
Okay.
actually done this one time where I thought I got them all and I had missed one, and I was like, I just kept waiting for it to activate, and I was like, what is happening?
So there are now 3 consoles that we need to hack. We're gonna mess up the wiring for the first console, but we're not actually gonna hack it yet. And that's because we're gonna head over to the second console and hack that one, and then use the dialogue that happens after it and buffer that dialogue to hopefully overlay some cutscenes. Oh, I need to interact with the wiring. Oops.
So the cutscene plays after this dialogue is finished, and then another one will play right before he's going to activate the first console, and we're going to see both cutscenes overlapped.
So wait until that should be good. And then both cutscenes play at once, so it's slightly faster than doing it normally and watching both cutscenes. And then just do the final console as normal.
I wouldn't be lying if I said this ending didn't kind of put me in my feels a little bit. You can see how weak B12 is getting now.
Yeah, B12's getting continually worn out from all of the hacking he's had to do. And as a final push, we're going to get him to open up the sky of the city isn't actually a sky, it's actually just one big roof. And it surprised me during my CAD. I don't know if I just missed something, but I thought it was a proper sky the whole time, but it turns out it's just one big roof. And
it was all Clipper roof.
Yeah. And B12's going to give one final push to open up the roof.
Yeah, I definitely shed some tears here first time.
Oh, kitty.
This is just B12 sacrificing, everything to hopefully free everyone.
So, as the roof opens up here, lights gets let in, and that fortunately kills all of the Zerks, and for some reason also deactivates all of the Sentinels, which I don't think is ever explained, but we will roll with it.
It has no effect on the normal robots.
Yeah, we'll roll with it. So it kills all the bad things, but does nothing to our friends.
Pop, pop, pop. There they go.
the weirdest fireworks I've ever seen.
But our robot friends are completely safe. That's Momo in his final appearance in the game. Those are the robots from the slums. Yes, the slums.
Did I just see a guy with a wig and like a guitar there?
That's what it is. Yeah. There's
Before his act out the whole game. Shows up. And the B12 is deactivated. I really wish we would still, take him with us.
Yeah,
for some reason we don't.
Can't pick him up with you. Just have to abandon him here.
The Roomba's gonna say goodbye to us at Walk Fest. Bye-bye. This robot is flabbergasted over there.
Yeah. And then final very small thing here. You're normally meant to be locked in at walking speed here, but there is actually one jump prompt you can get at the end here, which skips a very small amount of walking, just like that. And time will be as soon as we get to the top of the stairs here, and the cutscene starts. So it's in 3, 2, 1, and that is time.
GG. Well done. No, we don't get to reunite with our cat buddies.
Yeah, I was expecting.
We'll find them.
Yeah, I was expecting them to reappear at the end, but
we'll find them next game. Trust me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that game so much. It's so many feels. But while we are enjoying the sunset in the open sky for the first time in this run, please, both of you, let everybody know who you are, where they can find you, and what are you currently playing, streaming, or what have you.
Well, I'm Drager.
Drager.
You can find me at twitch.tv/Drager, and then an underscore at the end. I'm currently doing Fear 3 speedruns. Yeah, that's me. Possibly co-op Fear 3 speedruns, if that's your thing. You want to go ahead, Jonathan?
Yeah, I go by the same name on YouTube. Mainly, I'm just streaming this category right now, world record attempts currently. I would like to shout out a few people and something else real quick. Well, first of all, I started running this game in honor of my cat that had passed away. So this game means a lot to me, definitely. And I want to shout out Anemian because his runs also helped inspire me. I want to shout out my friend Lettuce. And yeah, this game has been a great time, definitely.
Yeah, while we're doing shout outs, could I just say Stray is really outside of, I tend to be more of a horror FPS speedrunner, and Stray is really outside of my typical wheelhouse. I actually learned this game initially for another marathon called a Speedrunnizer, where the idea is you get you get assigned a game to learn, and I was assigned Stray to learn, and that's why I initially learned it. And so I never would have learned this game otherwise without Speedrunnizer, and I ended up really liking the game, really liking the speedrun. So I'd just like to say shout out to these people at Speedrunnizer. It's an awesome marathon. And shout out to Surprise Speaker for submitting the game. I never would have thought about learning this game otherwise. Thank you to them. Thanks to the community, all really lovely people. And thank you to the GDQ staff and everybody for having us. It's been a wonderful experience.
It's been a great time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you two had so much fun. It was so fun watching that game, and I always love hearing how people learn speedruns or fall into speedruns. And yeah, Speedrunnizer's fantastic for learning runs that are so out of your wheelhouse. So I'm so glad you found something that you love because Stray is amazing. But for everybody, sit tight. We're going to be coming back. Hello, friends, and welcome back to our animal-themed episode of Express Lane. Now, we had some fantastically wholesome feels with Stray just now, but coming up next, we are going in a slightly different direction, a very barnyardy animal direction, which is totally hinged and sensical, because we are going to be watching Goat Simulator 3, Multiverse of Nonsense, 80% one player with Spectral. So Spectral, take us away, and what are you putting us through right now?
Right. Hey everyone, I am Spectral, and this is Goat Simulator 3, the sequel to Goat Simulator. We don't talk about Goat Simulator 2, so I'll just put that out there. This is the most realistic Goat simulation game out there today on the market, in my subjective opinion. And Multiverse of Nonsense is the first major DLC for this game, and it puts us through kind of a slight fictional spin on Goat Simulator saga. So normally this game starts with a 4-minute cutscene that's unskippable, so we're going to be skipping that for speed showcase purposes. If you ever played Half-Life 1 or Black Mesa, that's going to be that exact intro verbatim copied over. But I'm going to go ahead and give a countdown if everyone's ready.
We are ready.
All right.
Maybe, I think.
I don't know if I'm ready,
Sure.
but let's go. 3, 2, 1, goat.
I'm not expecting Goat. Oh boy.
All right, so we are in the Black Mesa, legally distinct Black Mesa facilities. We are playing as Pilgor the Goat. She holds a PhD in practical physics, and this is kind of the tutorial section here. We have a dedicated bleed button. We can grab objects by licking them. That's a crowbar. I'm sure it's going to come in handy soon enough. And we can also triple jump, because this is basically a platformer game. And since we are a goat, we can also climb on walls, and we can also ragdoll. And ragdolling is going to come up quite a few times throughout the run, mostly unintentionally. It's going to waste our time. And here is the test chamber. Sometimes we can clip through this by just ragdolling. I'll try that one more time. Okay, today is not the day, so we're going to feint our way through this wall, I think, is what we're going to do. All right, that's that. So now we are in the test chamber, and there's going to be a bit of a lore dump here, but I will give you a quick rundown. Is that we are again here with our scientist pals, and we're going to be running an experiment on an instability stone, and we're just going to blast it with lasers, see what happens. And then what's going to happen is things are going to go as well as you would expect, and 3 seemingly unrelated universes are going to get stitched together into a conveniently Goat Simulator DLC-sized map. And the watcher of the multiverse, which naturally is a capybara, is going to blame us for what entailed, and she's going to basically say, well, you created this mess, but you can fix it as well, so I'm going to make you my agent of chaos. So by going around and creating chaos and instability and mayhem, you can kind of help me return things to the way they were before. And now that I'm saying that out loud, that doesn't really make any sense, but we are playing as a goat, and I think we would have created the mayhem with or without a cause. So now we're going to be running the experiment momentarily here. And Oscar, if you have anything you want to bring up, this is a perfect time. We have a bit of a downtime.
Oh, fantastic. For those watching, remember that all of your subs, your Prime Gaming subs, any gift subs, and any bits that you cheer on this channel, GDQ Twitch channel, will help support Games on Hotfix and these totally sensible runs featuring goat scientists. So if you enjoy watching these speedruns, consider just subscribe to the channel, get access to the emotes, have some ad-free viewing, which is always great, and just chat with other subscribers during our replays when we kind of bring it down to subs only. So, oh my god, the capybara face. Not expecting that.
We're going to be jumping right in here by going into our first world, Goof World, and I have a skin here, the public domain Pilgor, the goofiest character with the worst bleed in the game by far. I'm going to try to spam that as much as possible. And we're going to start doing our events, which are the quests of this game right away. And our ultimate goal is to collect enough points to open up rifts, which will take us to different parallel universes. And we will be collecting stones that go inside this tiara. And then the capybara can, click her hooves or whatever, and then return everything back the way they were before. And speaking of cartoon, I've always wanted to jump into a pool of gold coins, just like Scrooge McDuck. So let's make that dream come true. And since this is
I also like that you're on tax exemption hill right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure nothing can go wrong. Since it's a cartoon world, we should dive right. Oh, that didn't quite look right.
Oops.
All right, so we have broken just about every bone in Pilgor's body, which is okay. We still have access to our suitcase, which dragged us right back here, and we are going to take the suitcase out of this area. And this quest in particular is somewhat of a challenging one for the start of the game. We are asked to go to another area, and right now we don't really have any movement options other than running around. And I'm gonna actually go back to Pilgor here. All right, as expected. So we are gonna use a conveniently placed portal here to go to the next world over, which is Mount Olympus. But before we do that, we want to synchronize with this goat tower. And this is a mechanic that's throughout all Goat Simulator 3 maps, where we can synchronize with towers to open up the map. I don't know where they got this idea from. And we can also fast travel to these towers later on, which is going to come in handy. So otherwise, we don't really have any other fast travel mechanics. All right, so there's our portal. And our first thing we want to do is we want to clean up some radioactive waste here. And the easiest way to dispose of waste is to throw it into a portal that we don't know where it goes. Actually, let's find out.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
All right, so now we are in Mount Olympus, and now you might, get it if you were wondering why this DLC is called Multiverse of Nonsense. I think that's starting to become clear really quickly. We're gonna start creating mayhem right away by breaking a bunch of Thor statues, and this is not exactly only Greek mythology, it's a bunch of different mythological figures. And one thing I've done here is grab an NPC. Right now, Pilgor is on fire, and after a few seconds, that tends to subside on its own. But by holding an NPC, I can pass the flames back and forth and hold on to that because I want to grab break another statue here, which is currently covered by thorns, which is the gimmick of this particular area. And we're going to be doing a lot of quests back to back here in quick succession. Some of them are going to be spread throughout the map, like the Thor statues. And the other one here, like collecting... there's a collector looking for a golden Zeus figurine, which one doesn't exist in the map, but we can grab a regular Zeus figurine and take it to Midas and have him convert,
Nice.
turn it into gold.
I see you are also gold now.
Yes, I also became collateral, but that's fine. Oh, there goes the Zeus figurine. Let's pick that up. We don't want to go empty-handed to the collector. And then once we do that, we're going to start our climb to Mount Olympus. But we're going to start from the bottom. And at the bottom of the mountain is the realm of the dead with Hades. So let's go say hi to Hades, who is not in a particularly good mood. And here is the ferry master. We can pay him to cross to the world of the undead, or we can just kind of walk over. It's not a very deep pool. So Hades turns out is a little depressed here because he's working in this cramped up office. So we're going to help him out. We're going to turn the place, knock down some walls, turn it into an open concept office. And then we're going to sweep the floors. And then we're going to do I think, fix the plumbing. We're going to just quickly knock down. And by the way, you may have noticed everything I hit turns into gold. And that's because I have the Midas touch as well. Whenever we finish a quest, the item that we collect or the reward of the event automatically gets equipped. And that's not something we usually want. In this case, there's no harm in it. Let's sweep the floors. And a lot of the puzzles and the events in this game are physics-based, and the physics in this game is very non-deterministic. It doesn't really cooperate more often than not, which is basically working as intended.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
All right, we're gonna unclog the toilet. Is that Wilson? And now Hades is happy. His hair came back. Now he can, and we also got the hair as well, which is fantastic because we need to be able to set ourselves on fire on demand in quite a few parts of this DLC.
Stressful.
And if I can get over this tree here, and another property of ragdolling besides clipping walls when it wants to, we can also add some height to our jump. And I did this at the start of the run as well, so we can quickly transcend this area and grab the Trojan horse. We can ride the Trojan horse. Goats are great drivers, but this particular area is not very easy to drive over. So we're just gonna lick and grab the Trojan horse. And this game doesn't really impose any restriction on how big an object we can carry over. So this is far.
I was about to say, that is a very strong tongue that goat has. Either that or that is a very light Trojan horse.
And it's a very stretchy tongue to it. I also managed to pass all the way back into the bank from the center of Goofbill. Is the horse still with us? Kind of. Come on. And now another trick that we're going to use a lot is respawning. When we hit the respawn button, the game places us to a handful of predetermined locations. So we are going to go up a bit over the mountain, and then we're going to learn how to play the lyre real quick. And you may not know this, but in ancient Greece, the riff of choice for beginners was Smoke on the Water, just like modern guitar.
That tracks, honestly.
All right, we kind of played it somewhat. It's good enough.
Close.
And we're going to be climbing up the mountain and doing a bunch of other random quests. And I think I should unequip the liar horn. I don't want to spawn liars and block my way. And we're going to be doing another somewhat slow quest here. We got to help Sisyphus push a rock over the hill. And we're going to be charging up a super headbutt, which is something we have. And in the meanwhile, if you have any other messages or any Go trivia to share, now is the perfect time.
Well, I have a message right now. I'm going to have to look up Goat Trivia in a second. But for those of y'all who don't know, Summer Games Done Quick 2025 is going to be live from Minneapolis, or in Minneapolis from July 6th through the 13th. And all you have to do is register to attend the event. Just head over to gamesdonequick.com for more info. Type !SGDQ in Twitch chat. And make sure if you're going to be registering, you register by May 26th. All the info is on the website. And now is to look up some goat facts, goat trivia.
And just as great timing, because we're at the third floor statue, which gives us our bread and butter movement option for the rest of the run, which is the Mjolnir hammer. And how this hammer works is I can interact with it once to shoot it, and then use it again to kind of teleport ourselves towards it and keep the momentum. Now is our first kind of small boss battle, if you will, with Kraken, which is a chameleon for some reason. Every time we destroy a head, 2 more heads will pop up. And we have to ideally aggro them together. And then we don't want to be on the ground when they slam the ground, because we will ragdoll and we won't have enough time to hit the heads, because they have a fairly short cycle. So we want to kind of aggro all the heads and then destroy them all at once, if possible. And I think we should only have one more phase here. I have a bad feeling about this. And that's what happens if you're on the ground. Alright, that was not too bad. We have another mission here, which we're going to be skipping, called Zeus's Cloud Service. We can log into Zeus's Cloud Network, but some of the missions in this game are quite slow, and we basically want to only pick up the missions that give us enough points so that we can pick up, open the rifts as fast as possible. And in total, we need 78 points, which is going to open 3 different rifts. I'm going to synchronize with the Scott Tower and then make my way to the next mission. You can see me there. In all of the cutscenes in this game, we still keep Pilgor's movement, and we're going to be trying to use that as much as possible. There is Snake Game. We're going to be there. We're going to be participating in that in a minute. We are just about done with Mount Olympus, actually, and we're going to be going to our next section, which is a very strange area, and I'll just leave it. I won't be spoiling that. Here is Achilles. He has only one weakness. Fairly easy to take care of. And then we are going to be equipping our stress-free hair, as it's called in the game, again, to burn another statue and then break it, and we are done with Brotherly Mischief. And it's time for Snake Games. And what we are supposed to do here is not move when the faces, the eyes are glowing red, and move when it's blue, but we can actually just kind of completely ignore that with Mjolnir.
Nice.
I don't know where Pilgor went, but that's fine. We can respawn. All right, now that we are here, we're going to make our way out of Mount Olympus, and we're going to be heading to Gotroid, as it's called. And you're going to notice that something is a little off right away as we do our first mission here, which is called Avian Invasion. And we have to chase some birds from rooftops. And we can also buffer jumps as we are about to fall, because normally when you fall from a great height, and I'm going to unequip Zeus Horn because it's kind of making me ragdoll, you normally ragdoll, and we don't want that. Ragdolling is very slow, so we buffer jumps and jump as soon as we hit the floor to cancel that. And these are the birds in Gotroid, which look disturbingly human. So this is a world where humans and goats, or basically all animals, have swapped places with humans, and basically every pet and kind of domestic animal you can think has become a human, and humans have been replaced with humanoid goats. And you can see there is a billboard there for Human Simulator 3, the new and upcoming game. We're gonna see some very cursed skins and characters in this area, so apologies in advance. That's our first rift, but we're not going to be taking that just yet. Instead, we're going to be chasing these humans, and I think they're just going to be landing to the red building over there. and then there's only one more spot, and then we can continue with another human pet related mission. And you can see the capybara ever watchful, just judging us for our experiment.
Just eternal I am disappoint face.
Basically.
Oh yeah, and someone in chat mentioned that they're playing Human Simulator right now, so yeah, you feel free. If it's under an hour, you can speedrun it on Express Lane.
The multiversal fabric tearing.
And Capybara is letting us know that new rifts are opening, but we have a human to walk. And this is one of the run killers right off the bat, because as I mentioned before, we often don't want to be ragdolled because it loses us time. And this entire mission, we're going to be ragdolled and getting dragged around by this human pet. And if we get stuck in any object or behind any object for a prolonged time, the leash will snap and we'll have to do the slap again. So all we can really do is hope that we don't get stuck behind anything. And this game's physics is, random. If anything, it's inconsistent. That's kind of looking scary, but I think we are fine.
It's consistently inconsistent.
That's a great way of putting it, really. Because when we run this game, and if anyone ever really says that's never happened before, that's kind of the name of the game, really. And I'm going to open up the menu here to prevent my hammer from getting overwritten by the leash item, which we're going to see much later in the run. But we're going to make our way to the next goat tower. And now that I think about it, if we have a goat civilization, we must have goat cable television. And I think it only is fair that Pilgor, with her charming personality, gets to star in her own TV show. So we're going to go ahead and see what we can do about that while this goat tower is getting synchronized. And you might notice a small screen shake because we just crash landed onto the rooftop.
Nice.
Hopefully we didn't clip through, which is something that can happen in this game from time to time. Falling from great heights can result in clipping through the map.
Somehow that does not surprise me.
All right, so let's sneak our way into the TV studio real quick. I don't need to pick up this skin, but I think I want to be in the role. Let's unleash our Dr. Pilgor persona. We're gonna get three goats here. They're gonna be telling us about what ails them, and we're gonna give them some advice in our own goat tongue, and they're gonna be pondering over that for a bit. And their ailments and their responses are all RNG in terms of length. And then once they're done, we just kind of put them off the studio. We're on a tight schedule here. I mean, that's showbiz for you, I suppose. And I'm gonna equip my hammer here.
Yes, it's the children who are wrong.
It's the children who are wrong. Okay. They really have the worst ailments and the worst responses, but they're just kind of funny. I think you can do up to 20 of them to get the achievement, but we don't really have the time for that. While this goat is pondering over his over our suggestion, as a functional member of Goat Society, we have to learn how to parallel park this fire truck. That wasn't too bad.
Nice.
If you try to actually drive that and parallel park it, it will probably take somewhere 15 to 20 minutes. We're gonna now get our photo taken. It's always good to have a commemorative photo taken.
Classy picture.
Not too bad, even though we are largely obscured by the Mjolnir's discharge, but that's fine. Right, we gotta mow this lawn here. This is also another dreadful mission where the physics can't troll indefinitely, because this grass will start growing back very soon, so I have to take care of them, which is exactly not what happened. Actually, the easiest way is to kind of let it regrow, and then we quickly try to take care of it here. Because once this... Alright, that's not too
nice.
bad. And now we're going for my favorite mission in this whole game. We get to become a substitute teacher for a class full of kids. Unintended.
Literally.
We are going to teach them language. We're going to teach them how to ragdoll. We're going to teach them how to dance. And then once they start dancing, we're going to teach them a second language. Very high standards of education. And now that they have perfected their ragdoll, I think they have, since we're a substitute teacher, we have to make them watch a great documentary. Please come here. All right, now we can play as a kid as well. And that's actually going to become super useful in a minute once we enter our first rift here. And chat, I hope you're familiar with another game called Deep Rock Galactic.
Ooh, I know there's a few people in chat that are big fans.
Because a little bit of trivia, this game was developed and published by Coffee Stain Studios, and Deep Rock Galactic was also published by Coffee Stain. So we have this big section, which is basically a collab. As you can see here, now we are dwarf, and we can rock and stone and mine some ores, except we are not going to do any of that because rock and stone is also very slow. Normally we are, as you can see, we have a level bar all of a sudden, and what's expected of us is getting up to level 50 by mining ores, and no matter how we do that, that is incredibly slow. So what we are going to do is instead we are going to kind of skip all those requirements and go out of bounds to the end of the level. And normally once we hit level 50, the game is supposed to give us an item called mining ore that can break the barriers, but we don't have time for that, so we're just going to feint our way out of bounds.
All else fails, just feint your way out of things. I love it. Really love it.
All right, so we are out of bounds. And we're going to switch back to Kid because we need to clip through some geometry, and the regular goat is too large to fit. And now we can turn back to regular Pilgor. No, we don't want to dance. And hopefully we should be able to go out of bounds or go back in bounds very soon. All right, that wasn't too bad. Now we're gonna go back to Kid, and this is the second thing where Kid really shines is we can double hit objects. Because Kid is so small, we can interleave headbutts and kicks to kind of do effectively what's a double hit on any item in the game. And we were supposed to come here with mining ore, which can destroy these shackles within a few seconds, but instead we will be painstakingly clicking on these for the next minute or so. So if you have anything else to share for the next minute while I'm chipping away at these rocks, go for it.
I will say there's a lot of rock and stone in chat right now. So you have caught people's attention. But yeah, so like you're watching it live, awesome. Hello, I hope you're having a great time. But you could also check out the VODs for this, for Hotfix shows, for events like Back to Black or Frost Fatales. If you head over to youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And if you are watching this at youtube.com/gamesdonequick, hello from the past. You should head over to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick and watch these shows live. There are some fantastic speedruns, fantastic shows of all different kinds, and there's some pretty heckin' cool people around that you can talk to in the process. Or just yell rock and stone with your fellow rock and stone people.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all, actually. We can do the same thing here.
I deserve that. I love this.
We have quite a bit of variety, but we are done with that finally, and we are going to be grabbing our first stone for the tiara. First infinity, no, instability stone is, I believe, what they're called in this game.
There we go. Instability stone.
And as soon as we get back to our, I guess, multiverse, we're again off for the races. I'm going to be traveling to the next event while this cutscene is playing out.
How's your head feeling after all that headbutt mining? No matter, you brought back the deep stone. One step.
And we are in these moving.
Total instability.
It's quite the sizable instability stone there.
Yes, and I'll be getting a few more, and they're all equally going to be this broken, where we just kind of completely ignore the objective and just clip our way out of bounds and, get to the objective as fast as possible. And here we have another, as if we haven't done enough. Well, I guess we haven't really done enough mining all in all, because we kind of skipped the whole thing, but we're going to be unearthing some relics here. And then, let's see here, we have 6 of those, and again, Kid really shines here, double hits, because we have to headbutt these a whole bunch of times otherwise, and charging headbutts takes up too much time, so double hits is about the fastest way we can really do these events. But we are not actually, we only have 2 more missions in Gortroid, and then once that's done, we are going to be going back to Goofville to tie up some loose ends and get our 2nd and 3rd instability stones. And before I get the remaining relics, I have one more mission to do here. And again, we didn't get the mining ore, so you're not supposed to be able to enter here. So, and that's a bit of a trivia, but when this game first came out, we knew about the feint clipping right off the bat, but then the main game really doesn't have any use for it, so we conveniently forgot about it until another runner, Invisible Sides, shout outs to him, started running this category and then messaged us like, why aren't you guys just doing feint clips And we used to have a much more convoluted way of doing clips before because we completely forgot about the convenient feed clipping.
Oh, right.
So that made a comeback, and that completely changed the route because this particular mission was routed out. And this is the missing link. We're going to bow before him. And I'm very sorry about what you're about to witness. Now we are that. But you're not going to see him for the rest of the run, so. Or maybe we will. Let's see.
Oh, that was a thing.
And now we have the biggest thing to excavate here, a giant golden statue. If you played the base Goat Sim 3 game, this is the same golden statue that's in the Staten Island or whatever it was called. I can't remember the name of the island in the game now. And again, we're trying to double click. All right, that's the statue. And we're going to be, again, making our way with Mjolnir. Mjolnir doesn't exactly excel in horizontal movement, but it's really good for vertical movement. I was hoping not to aggro that cloud, but that's okay. And we're going to start this mission. And how this mission is supposed to go is we are supposed to break these mushroom houses, which then spawns a whole bunch of gnomes. And then we're supposed to take them out one by one. But Hades' hair, once again, comes in clutch. And here is another quest that we don't do for the speedrun, where we're supposed to enter a mortgage plan with a random raccoon and then collect a whole bunch of shells. I forgot the currency.
As one does.
Yeah, and it takes too long, but it's a fun quest otherwise. And then you can get the raccoon outfit. And we have only one more mushroom home, and one more, I guess, set of gnomes to evict. And there's Sonic the Hedgehog, by the way. If you miss him, he's kind of quick. That's his thing, really. And we are done with all the gnomes. We have gotten rid of all the squatters in our gardens. And we're going to be going to the next riff here, which is the Puzzleverse, which is only aimed for the smartest of the goats, but we are even smarter than that, so we're not going to be doing any of the puzzles, really, because this area consists entirely of physics-based puzzles, and I have mentioned it a few times now. Physics-based puzzles in this game are anything but cooperative, and we could spend anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes doing them, but if we simply don't do them at all and go out of bounds, that's going to make our life a lot easier. And again, Mjolnir is not great for this section, but this is our best movement option compared to the base game, where we have rocket boots and broomsticks and other magical items that just make life a whole lot easier. But one thing I'd like to mention here is if I do go too far up in the sky, there is a trigger box that will respawn me at the start of the map, so I have to be careful not to fly up too high, as that's going to waste a bunch of time.
Actually, I had a question. I know the category is technically 8% one player, so is it simply put 4 goats for 4 player? Or is it just
exactly,
something?
yeah. We can have anywhere up to 4 players, and okay, that's a thing. Sure. I was starting to get worried because the game hasn't, acted up in a while. Yes, we can have multiple players, and what happens is we still have to be together for goat towers. So there are some things that you have to do as a group, but other things you can just kind of branch off and do your thing. So multiple goats end up really being as if you divided one player into 4 parts and, have them do the 4 different things at the same time. And there is our Mind Stone as the smartest goat. We deserve it. And there was only supposed to be 1 brain there, but it's okay. That's new.
Yeah, you were too smart for 1 brain, clearly.
So it seems. And with that, we are just about wrapped up with Goofbill as well.
Expect you to have the intellect required to bring
We're
back
going to be
the
just
knowledge
preparing, setting up for the next event here. There's the Deku tree at the center of the town. We haven't really got to talk to him yet, but he has a woodpecker that just settled in and it's driving him nuts. So he wants that woodpecker out of there. So if we had talked to him, he would have pleaded us to find a solution. And this is a cartoon world, so the only logical solution is to grab a cartoon bomb and head over to the tree.
I mean, bomb or anvil, that's pretty much it. I would expect nothing less.
And I'm sure nothing can go wrong by placing a bomb over this tree. And this is probably a good And this is going to create a bit of a Ruby Goldberg reaction, but it's probably good to mention that a lot of the events in this game are going to have permanent repercussions in the world map. So this is one example that you're going to see in a second. The map is going to be filled with random obstacles in a minute. So this is really a mission we want to do later in the run rather than earlier, and which is one of the reasons why I came back here later after the Mind Stone.
Okay, that balloon, Brock, that was very, very believable. I can see that.
And we don't have a sun anymore in Goofville, and now the Goofville is basically full of traps.
Oh my god.
All right, so that went as well as it could have. And we have only one more mission to do in Goofville before we go into our final rift here. And we're going to see the item. This is the only time we're going to see it in this game is the leash. Leash allows us to grab multiple items, and it used to be routed in quite a bit more, but with the latest route, it's only used in this area. We need to grab 4 paint cans, and why that is going to become apparent very soon. The 5th one is going to be over there. We don't want to hit any of the diglets on the way. As you can see, this tunnel is covered, but cartoon logic, we can just paint it, and the train should be good to operate again. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to be traveling back to Mount Olympus because that's where the final rift is going to be.
Chaos. More instability.
And Capybara is quite happy with our progress. And I'm going to be painstakingly making my way to the rift over there. And this is going to be Microverse, the shortest rift in the game. And unfortunately, we cannot use any items in this rift, so we have to do it the intended way, which is a shame.
I'd say with the leash, is there a max number of things you can pick up, or is it just
I believe it's 10 or 11. It's a pretty large number. Like I think once you max it out, they all get released at the same time, which is horrific because we used to use this for a different mission where we had to grab a dozen or so items. So we had to be careful not to grab too many things, and then everything just goes flying. And now we're in outer space that's, or kind of some kind of system that's kind of orbiting around this microwave. We're gonna grab a bunch of ingredients here, and our ultimate goal here is to put together some food for the microwave to heat up. Again, multiverse of nonsense. So,
I mean, I think this is a perfectly sensible.
I think given our circumstances, I think this makes a whole lot of sense.
I personally believe everything that is happening to be 100% accurate and IRL compatible. Maybe.
I would say so. I mean, it's just maybe. I think everything GOAT in this is so far is perfectly realistic. And one really cool trivia about this particular multiverse is, or this rift is, it would normally make sense. I think what one would think to do is, why don't we just gather every item in the center of the map, and then we can just combine them. But if you combine more than one pair of items at once, the game will soft lock, and then we have to do this part all over again. So that's a neat bit of trivia we found after one of the runners lost a really good pace. All right, so we have our cow and our pig, and then those are going to combine to create sausage. And we're going to create our bread loaf here real quick. We just need a tractor, as one does.
I'm gonna create bread. Let me go get my tractor.
And I think we just need our little wheat here. And apparently, if you combine wheat and a tractor, what you get is flour. If I can grab the wheat here.
Perfectly packed sausage.
And then flour and water makes bread, and then these two will make we'll put together a hot dog. And I don't know about microwaving a hot dog that's assembled together, but that's fine with the condiments too. Okay,
that's impressive that it came with condiments right there. And as we all know, the true sandwich right there for a hot dog.
And with that, naturally, the sequence of events here is the microwave will transform, and then that's gonna, with the fueled by the hot dog, this transformer is gonna give us the 4th Chaos Emerald. And this is again a bit of a downtime here, so if you have anything else you want to share, this is kind of the perfect time because I don't even really know what's going on at this point.
Yeah, same. I can give you a quick goat fact. I pulled one up, and you can actually teach a goat to come when called by teaching them their name. They're not a fan of water. They'd rather leap over streams and puddles than step in them. So I'm impressed that your goat was able to lick some water right there. But if you want to find out some more goat facts, you should head over to the official GDQ Discord. Type !Discord in Twitch chat for some more info. You can get the hotfix roll in Discord that helps you keep tabs on upcoming events, talk with staff, other showrunners, and a whole bunch more. And like I said, we will have goat facts there because goats.
And now that we have the 3 rifts completed, we have only one more rift to go through, and I will try to overlap 2 cutscenes here by interacting with this sled, the chariot here. And now we are on our way to the final rift, which is gonna be the final stone needed to complete the instability tiara, which turns out to be inside the capybara actually. So that's where we're gonna be going. Let me get on the chariot if I can here. Alright, not too bad.
Beautiful chariot right there.
A little bit of trivia, we can actually, after finishing that microverse, there was a microwave that spawned in. We can go inside the microwave to turn into a hot dog and become... then hot dog is then a playable character. But we don't, that's not really a part of the route, unfortunately, because the main game has eggplant and banana, but this game only has hot dog. Alright, so now we are in a bit of a role-playing situation, RPG situation here. We're going to be ignoring most of that and using Mjolnir to gain as much velocity as possible, and then start chaining jumps to preserve that velocity and make our way through this area. And again, Kid is a lifesaver here because Kid can, what you're going to see at the end of each section here is there's going to be a kind of a barrier of sorts that we need to break. And when we break it, it sets off a huge explosion, which ragdolls us, and then that loses a bunch of time. But with Kid, we can clip into the geometry. There are little gaps here that we can just clip into and, simply not have to deal with any of that. And hopefully I'll be able to hold on to my momentum here for a bit. And another nice thing about Mjolnir is even if we ragdoll, we can still use Mjolnir, and that will kind of undo our ragdoll status. And this area is actually quite linear. Even though it looks kind of open, there are a lot of invisible walls, so I have to be careful not to hit any of the invisible walls or any of the respawn triggers.
I like how each of those enemies have their own semi-unique name.
They have their names, and if I open any of the chests here, they actually also have loot that I can collect, which doesn't serve any purpose, but I can do that.
Of course.
And speaking of water, we have a bit of stomach acid here, but that's fine.
Goats are resistant to stomach acid.
I mean, they have 4 stomachs themselves, so I guess that should make sense. And we have a nuclear bomb that we want to avoid if possible. Again, sets off a huge explosion. And we have the final boss fight here, which is the final stone, which is apparently a kidney stone that the capybara has been suffering through this entire time. So, okay, that just happened. Apparently we are not doing the boss fight just yet. Okay, let's explode this actually. Why not?
That was a very resilient goat right there.
We are absolutely getting clobbered. And I've never fallen out of bounds there before, so it's cool that it happened in a marathon run of all places. But that's so this is the final boss fight, and the time will be coming up when the kidney stone's health goes down to 0. I'm going to use the Hades here again to melt the kidney stone quickly. And I'm standing behind the stone on purpose to not get ragdolled too far back every time the stone breaks off a chunk. And sorry about the noises, the capybara is in a lot of pain.
Understandable.
And I'm absolutely getting ragdolled by everything in the game right now, but I also can't really see where I am. This shouldn't be much longer now. And time is coming about in 3, 2, 1, time.
GG. Absolutely GG.
And we went through this crazy saga, and we collected the 4 kidney stone. And you might be wondering what's going to happen, and will everything go back to the way they were before? And it really turns out none of this really happened, and this was all a simulation put together by the farmer to persuade Pilgor to help with his new capybara's kidney stone. And I mean, a goat is seemingly not intelligent enough to tell apart a situation like this from reality. So at the end of it, we just get substituted by or obsoleted by a capybara, and capybara becomes a playable character.
Of course. Oh gosh, I recognize this. It's fantastic.
Thank you for removing my
Oh my goodness. I had a quick question, just because I know I'm intrigued. So, for the category for this, does that include that unskippable cutscene at the beginning, or does the time
It does. Unfortunately, it does. So we do have a 4.5 minutes of run downtime, especially at the start of the game. If you don't get the clip right away, sometimes in the Black Mesa and you're going for a good time, that's a reset.
That's
so you're going to be
fair.
sitting through that because console players cannot as easily, swap save files and
I
skip
gotcha.
it. So we have to be fair to everyone, but it is a little unfortunate. Otherwise, this is a fantastic first speed game because none of the tricks are particularly difficult. It's a pretty, I think, linear game to go through this particular map.
It just looks so fun. Oh my god, I love it. That was absolutely amazing to watch. Chat absolutely loved it. And I agree, Capybara Simulator win, 100%. So while we are watching this fantastic end cutscene, Spectral, let us know where can, oh gosh, I saw the simulator. Where can they find you? What are you playing?
Of course.
Any shout outs, go for it.
Of course, you can find me on Twitch and you can find me on YouTube under Spectral Platypus. And I will be doing 100% runs of the base Goat Simulator 3 game, which is a very long category. I've been routing it for a long time, so I'm really excited to show that off on stream very soon. Otherwise, a huge shout out to the Goat speedrunning community, notably Recode, Invisible Sides, who are both running this category, and also all the other Goat Simulators speedrunners and the community at large. And by the way, if you're curious, we are now a capybara. We have been obsoleted.
Of course. With the tongue still. I love it.
And that's all from me.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being on here. I was so glad you agreed to come on the show because this is just this just puts a smile on my face for the entire time. So thank you so much. Friends, we still have one more run. We are heading back to the oh, it's a blue capybara. I love it's a Sonic. Sorry, distracted by capybaras. We will be coming right back with our final run of today's episode of Express Lane. So, hi everybody, and welcome back to the final run of today's animal-themed Express Lane. So, we have gone through the cutest little wholesome cat. Then we've gone through a multiverse of nonsense. And now we are going to a cat that is earning their keep with a hard day's work. We are going to be watching Happy by 3 run Crypt Custodian any percent easy. So, Happy, are you locked in? Because from what I've seen in our conversations, I think you should lock it in.
I have been told to lock in. To be fair,
good.
we were telling everyone else to lock in. I have been locked in, or so it seems. Fabulous. We have plenty of time during the game to talk, so I will probably get into it pretty quick here. But first, I am joined by a lovely collection of people, which is basically 2/3 of the Crypt Custodian speedrunning community and 2/3 of the Beastie Ball speedrunning community. If y'all want to introduce yourselves before we get going.
Hi, I'm Professor Birch. I ran this game when we first started running it and testing it, and haven't touched it since.
Hi, I'm Quack. My one claim to fame is being the first sub-hour on the books for this game. It's now dropped precipitously since then, but I'm super excited.
And hello, I'm the Valiant Son. I did one run of this. Learned the most recent tech and then never ran it back. I'm glad to be here.
Future world record holder behavior.
There we
Let's
go.
go. Yeah. Absolutely. So I am anxiously making sure that speedrun mode is turned on, which it is, and then I will start a new game. Time technically starts 29 seconds after I press go, but in the interest of making it easy for everyone, time can just start when I press the A button on easy mode here. So we will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
GG in 29 or good luck in 29 seconds.
Yeah, so it's actually like 29.96, so basically 30 seconds. Just this little intro animatic showing us that we are a low-key cat friend. And I know sad game starts with our cat going to the afterlife. But don't worry. We get to make friends as soon as we get there, so everything's cool and fun.
Yeah.
There's our friend.
Aw, it's a good friend.
So, not only are friends important, because friends are great, but friends are a core mechanic of this game. If somebody wants to kind of explain the core lore while I do our first little cycle skip here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Crypt Custodian is a sort of top-down Metroidvania whose plot can loosely be summed up as make 10 friends and then invade heaven. Basically, those statues that Happy just broke get him sent to canonically not heaven. Specifically, here they are being offered a choice between two afterlife outcomes, the palace and not the palace. And our poor cat Pluto is being sentenced to not the palace, where he will be an afterlife janitor for all eternity. But we're going to Ocean's 11 style make enough friends to break into the palace to either reason with Kendra, the frog who just sentenced us to this, for our freedom, or use a device in the palace that is a mirror that lets you go back to the mortal plane and revisit your loved ones one time. The ending of this game is actually super sad. It's like is a real tearjerker.
It's like sweet sad. Like I cry every time, but in like a nice, wholesome, sweet way, not like everything's bad and terrible.
Happy Split is cry about cats, though.
Yeah. Oh, no, and I do every time. However, oh my god, the worst. So...
GG skip.
That was one of many skips in this game that are just sort of like, we can just go around stuff. Just pretend doors aren't there, jump around gates. This is a pretty big game, and I don't know what the estimate is on screen right now, but world record is 40 minutes on the dot. My PB, I think, is a 45 something.
Oh, yes, you're fine. You're fine.
But point of that being, it's not a short game, casually. This is the third Metroidvania by Kyle Thompson, the solo developer who made this game. And it's very big. It definitely shows that this is like a third project, and he kind of knows how to make maps at this point and make them very expansive and filled with interesting stuff to explore. And like, I think my casual playthrough was 10 hours, even though as I was doing my casual playthrough, I was explicitly like kind of trying to find fast ways to do everything because speedrunner brain is a curse. So like, it's a pretty long game, but we have found lots of absurd ways to skip thanks to the isometric geometry of everything that allows us to get it down very short.
Yeah, like for example, that key we should have used to do that staircase or to get into a location that we'll go into later, but since we were able to skip over the staircase with the totally valid looking skip, we were able to get into this area early. And we do a couple of like obtaining a key early and then using it on an entirely different gate.
Yeah, that's one super nice thing is everywhere on the map, those blue keys all go into one pile. and any blue key door can be activated by a blue key from anywhere on the map. I've never taken damage in that room before. I don't know why those dudes were in that position, but that is a good way to point out there is some RNG in this. It's minimal, but there is RNG in enemy spawns in rooms like that. So now I have to be actually careful. Usually I would just mash my face into this part of the fight, but because of those enemy spawns, I have to be a little bit careful because I took 2 damage where I don't usually, because there were just enemies in weird places. That just happens sometimes. All right, we are headed to our first boss. The scariest thing you can imagine, a pot full of spiders. Someone want to talk about the awful thing I'm doing to my hands right now?
Go for it, Bridge.
So the main form of combat in this game, as you can see, is this sort of dash attack that Happy's doing, which is putting in dash input at the same time while hitting the attack input. To do it that fast, you need to mash a lot.
And it's not like a perfect mash. It's like you have to do the roll input very slightly before the attack input to get it just right. So like you can't just blindly mash. Trust me, I tried. It sadly doesn't work because it would be easier than doing the like roll mechanic, but alas. Also, I'm forgetting where I'm supposed to go. Oh, here.
Sequential animation cancel. You use the like startup of your next dash to cancel out of the end of the attack animation, which also like the dash attack has its own animation, and so it can cancel the dash because that's how dash attacks work in video games. So you just really like you have to stagger them, but it gets extremely fast if you're precise about it.
Yeah. So you will see me do it like decent amount of the time. If you watch like the top 2 runners do it, they will basically get the dash cancel like every time. And near as we can tell, it's like a couple frames window, if that. It's very, very precise. But when you're watching combat where I'm doing the dash spam, you can tell because anytime my attack is like a pointy carrot instead of a sweep, it means that I have gotten the inputs correct. All right, 1775 is not awful. I think I need a little bit of backup at that point, but I'm gonna get confused again if I try to talk about money. So who wants to talk about money and why I care how much I have? Hey, that's the only skip I found.
GG. So we're going out of our way right now to collect some of this. Is it dust? What's our
dust?
Yeah.
Soot, dust.
Yeah. So soot, dust, and we're also going out of our way to collect some CDs. The collection of which is going to allow us to buy, I believe, our like. What's it called? Fast dash something or other.
Quick step. I think
quick
it's quick
step.
foot in English, but it's quick step in Japanese.
Yeah, so we get those 3 and we should be able to exactly afford that, and that will allow us to basically make a couple more skips because it gives us just a little bit more speed, and we jump just a little bit further, and suddenly like this jump is possible without it. This next one that we are going to do is not, though.
Yeah, and one of the classic speedrun experiences of this game is trying to practice a skip and being like, why can I not get this skip? And then realizing that you don't have quick foot.
Something else to note that Happy's been doing consistently through this entire run already for all these skips is that using Pluto's air attack does stagger the character forwards a little bit, so you can use it to cross all sorts of gaps, and also you can redirect it after starting up the attack, so you can use it to wiggle around corners, which will be massively important for a couple skips coming up. But this area is really cool. Every time you dash, the enemies, walls, and platforms in the area are set to like a Boolean on-off switch, so you turn half the platforms and enemies on and off every time you dash.
Yeah, and because of that, you might be thinking, but I thought the best way to kill bosses was dashing. And you're right, it makes this boss not really work with the dash attack spam, so we have to take a slightly different approach to the way that we deal with this boss, but that mechanic will be a little easier to explain once we're actually in the boss. You know what? I have hit this skip first try every single time in practice today, and I literally said out loud earlier, I bet you I'm gonna miss that in the run. And wouldn't you believe it? All right. So we're going to this boss now, and like I said, we can't really dash spam, so I'm gonna have to do a slightly different technique, which is to not fight the boss.
Oh. Easy.
GG.
GG.
My favorite boss technique. Just
no.
Not.
One that gets a surprising amount of mileage in this speedrun.
Yeah. Like, there's still enough boss fights in this run that, like, if you really enjoy the boss fighting, like, mechanics, you still get to enjoy them in the speedrun. But there's also a not insignificant number of boss fights. Come on. Always worth trying, but very, very, very tight window to get that first cycle.
Yeah, that like 0 cycle room is like you have to have literally frame perfect movement from the moment you walk into the room, and you just barely catch the platform as it's going away from you.
And because you kind of barely catch the platform, it looks almost identical when you miss it and when you get it. So even the runner doesn't really know until it happens.
I got a random question for you, because I know of your status as a polyglot, Happy.
Yes.
So you're playing on Japanese, and I know sometimes with different games the languages makes things faster to play. Is Japanese faster in Crypt Custodian, or is it just one of those, since you can read it, you're just gonna play it?
Yeah, it's mostly that, and because I don't know, I was watching a ton of. The good news is this skip saves so much time that I can fail it 4 times and still be better than doing it vanilla.
Nice.
That felt close, but nope. Oh, I was watching a ton of the current 2nd place runner who also ran this game at GDQ this past event, Inari-san, who is lovely and great and very, very good at Crypt Custodian. And because he was playing it in Japanese on stream, I was engaging with the game more in Japanese. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just also do that, I guess. Oh, what was I gonna say? I don't know. Anyway.
I don't think we found any language timing differences from what I can tell.
The reason that there's no timing differences is because there is a automatic text skipper built into the speedrun mode. So Kyle Thompson, the developer of this game, is wonderful and takes great care of the speedrunning community. There we go. Okay, I need to die on that jump, but get close enough that the hitbox from my slam activates that lever so that we can kind of skip that room.
Nice.
They're Happy also just skipped like 5 to 6 minutes of fetch quests to unlock a door by just jumping around the door. Also, chat, get stick bugged, lol.
Get stick bugged.
Get stuck bugged.
But yeah, Kyle is awesome and has always been like hugely supportive of his speedrunning community. His first game, Sheepo, built up a little speedrunning community, and Kyle was like, okay, how can I make my next game more accessible for speedrunners? And then did that again for this game, and has done a phenomenal job of incorporating like accessibility options and the speedrun mode that automatically skips text for us. Also, those bubble skips are really fun and skip maybe like 30 seconds. Yeah, so he created this whole like speedrun mode for us so we don't have to match through text. In Islets, one of his other games, it sets our seed. So there is some randomness in Islets with upgrades, but speedrun mode puts you on a set seed so that you don't have to deal with that. All kinds of just cool little things that he's done for the community to make speedrunning his games easier.
Nice.
We love supportive indie devs.
Oh my god, where do I go? One to the left, right?
Yes.
No. Where was I? Sorry. I got a little lost. Do I go? Oh, it's Grizz time. It's Grizz time. It's Grizz time. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong. I have my notes open just in case that happens, but I was looking at the wrong part of my notes and trusting them. And so I was like, but it says teleport one left, but one left doesn't make sense right here. It's because it's Grizz time, folks. I gotta go over here.
So Grizz is the best NPC in the entire game. Grizz is the punk cat who is currently digging a tunnel into the palace. Here he is, my perfect boy. He has never done anything wrong in his life. The most orange cat to ever do it.
I know in my heart he's orange.
Yeah. That's an orange cat.
The most orange cat to ever do it. And with that, we're getting into Sculptor's Peak, which is the bane of many speedrunners' existence.
Yay.
So something that we've sort of glossed over is Happy's done a couple of arena skips in the run that use the like sort of turning with your air attack.
Let's
go. Nice. That skip, turning the air attack around like midway through is brutal. That skip walled me for like, I want to say 10 full minutes on my first speedrun attempt of the game.
When I decided to like learn this route and really like learn it and was like, okay, at some point I'm gonna like grind for a record time, and was like, okay, that means I need to learn that skip seriously. It took me fully 2 hours of just repping that before I was like, I can do this kind of consistently. Not great, but kind of consistently.
Yeah, this is another pretty bad one.
This one's actually really cool though, because you can actually get away with not doing the slam attack and slot in there, and then like dash immediately into the lever. I found that out. It's really like I can't do it with the stash. If I try to do the smash attack, I mess up that jump every single time. If I don't do the smash attack, you just slot right in there. It's really interesting, and I think I'm the only person who can do that, and I don't know why that timing works better for me, but it does.
Now here's a big section where we skip a lot of things. There's a lot of.
I've never seen a gate in my life.
Imagine a gate.
Now rotate that gate in your mind.
Do we think that Grizz is do we all collectively think Grizz is an orange cat because his graffiti is orange?
Yeah,
I think Grizz is canonically orange, right? You see it like spoilers, but I'm pretty sure you see Grizz in a post-credit, like in a mid-credits scene.
Oh, is he orange in the credits picture?
Well, no, he's like the blue spirity, but I think
is he still spirity in that? I swear I've seen orange Grizz. Kyle Thompson, if you're watching this, please tell me I haven't lost my mind.
But spoilers, Grizz is a stray cat, and the most orange cat behavior is also being a stray cat.
This is true.
I mean,
this is true.
The cat for Stray was also orange, so
Exactly.
it's true.
You make some good points.
It all works.
Do you think the orange cat from Stray is Grizz?
Could be.
No. No. Grizz is built different. Grizz is built different in a vastly different way. So we just like, okay, so in doing the stick bug stuff, we sequence broke the game really bad to get an ability to make our spirit form that we got from the first boss skip that Happy did. We gave our spirit form the ability to jump, and with that, which is a phenomenally late game ability that you're supposed to have like after beating the entire first act of the game, we've now skipped into one of the latest game areas that you'll find in a casual playthrough and are kind of doing it not like fully backwards, but kind of sideways. There were like 45 skips in like.
Oh, here's the other worst
there.
skip. If a run gets past this skip and that other one, then I'm like, oh, maybe this is a run actually. And that's why it's such a hard skip. So to do the skip correctly, Pluto will go a little bit over the corner of this arena. However, if I go too much over the corner of the arena, it activates the fight. And as you can imagine, doing a whole fight loses you a decent amount of time. There we go.
Ooh, nice.
Easy. They've never fumbled once.
I've never fumbled in my life.
First try.
One of the nice things about the skips in this game, except for going the wrong direction while saying I'm not fumbling, that's the old route. This is the new, faster route. No!
No.
Are you kidding?
Oh no.
Absolutely robbed.
There is a way to bounce that up like on the top and the bottom, supposedly.
Okay, so fun fact about me. I did that strat in my casual playthrough, and the whole time I was learning the run, I kept doing it that way, thinking it was the only option. As soon as I learned that there's an easier way and that was actually a hard strat, I have not been able to do it consistently. Like, as soon as my brain knew that it was a strat, it was like, no, you can't actually do this anymore, sorry.
Yeah.
So we're now seeing a lot of those, like, those carrots are that dash attack that Happy is doing. It is a lot faster to do that. And then at this point, they are...
There we go. I was just trying
doing
to be safe.
the other, another tech, which is like hover attack. Is that what we call it?
Yes.
Hover.
Yeah.
Where basically you can get Pluto stuck in the jump animation, like halfway in the sky, and as long as you're mashing attack, Pluto won't fall. And it's really useful because most of the bosses are constrained to like the floor level, and so if you're in the sky, then you won't get hit by attacks. So it's a good way in which to make sure that you don't get hit when she starts spamming the entire field with things, but it will be mandatory in a couple of fights coming up later.
So that thing I just picked up is a super busted. This is another tough skip. You'll notice with all of the like particularly tough skips, I will switch to keyboard. That's just a personal preference. I feel like I can get the angles better on keyboard. It's not like mandatory by any means.
Now, I am all controller, and these skips are doable on them.
Yes, absolutely.
They're mean regardless of input method.
Yeah. It's not like they're great. But that ability I just picked up, this other special attack is like the strongest special attack in the game, and we just happen to go by it on the fastest speed run route. Like, we don't have to go out of our way at all to get this extremely powerful attack, which is pretty great if you ask me.
Yeah. And also in true Stray Cat fashion, we have now broken into an abandoned amusement park and are going to turn the power back on so that we can go on the rides.
Yeah.
Are we getting Twinkies along the way?
We could. Maybe some fried Oreos.
Perchance.
Some cheese on a stick. No!
How about a raccoon?
That's the worst. It's very unlucky. My hitbox was past the thing I needed to hit, so I didn't skip his dialogue like I normally would. Oh, that's funny. But it's all good. The rides are powered now. You do have to wait until after he talks. If you leave after he turns on the rides, it won't work. That's just a little cycle skip. It's a little tight, but luckily I got there despite going the wrong direction at first.
Over the bacon platforms.
Over the bacon. Yo, shout out Long Bacon. Gotta be my favorite fried flag.
Shout outs to the Long Bacon.
No! It's frustrating.
Happy, I need you to lock in.
I am.
I was gonna say, it's totally free. So one thing we haven't mentioned is this is any % easy. There are 3 difficulties. They do change some boss patterns in particular, like just off the top of my head, the stick bug gains projectiles of increasing menaceness on higher difficulties. There's a real adjective for that, but it's fine. The most notable difference about easy, though, is that on easy there are these overworld little healing chambers, the little heart-shaped pools that top your HP up to full, that make a lot of the like just difficult platforming sections a lot more forgiving because you have health refreshes at the midpoints instead of having to go through like 2 or sometimes even 3 of those sections on higher difficulties, which is nice for speed.
Pray for me.
And now it's time for the worst boss in the game. So the hover attack that
let's go.
Happy did. Nice.
Please work. Please work.
Come on.
So we need the hover to start attacking Rail Rider early because there is an incredibly precise cycle skip. Damaged him down to half, so he takes a long time on the animation to get rid of the outside platforms here. And if he shows back up on this side, that is the fastest possible kill.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm really happy about that. That's really,
Absolutely
really hard.
sick.
Yeah, that jump is so hard.
That was a gold split, in fact. Okay.
Let's
what do I do?
Let's
now?
go.
Gold split.
That was one too many or one too few.
Happy indeed locked in.
Oh,
I was about to say it.
I got to do this.
Bullying
I almost
works.
forgot.
It's
I almost
golem
forgot. I
time,
got to do
baby.
Boomerang Desk. I once again read my split notes wrong because for some reason, you know how split notes usually shows current split at the very bottom of the notes? It's showing me current split in the middle right now.
Oh, jeez.
Interesting.
That's fine. But that would be why I looked at the wrong split twice. At least I figured out what's going on, so I'm not just like wrong. Also, this fight is going terribly because I keep missing my hovers. Why can I not hover? Hey, game? Hey, bestie? Hey, bro? Hey, bud? Yo, seriously?
Sorry, you're doing the stone golem like I do my stone golems, and that's
I don't
unfortunately not a good thing.
understand.
I too often address the stone golem. Hey, bestie.
That's another fight
Something
that's
else-
been going eerily well in practice, so I should have known.
I mean, we got Rail Rider, so
We got
everything
Rail
else is
Rider,
just
that's
sort
so
of
much
icing
better.
at this point. Something else to note about the hovers that's very relevant for this fight is when Pluto is hover attacking. For some reason, Pluto still lightly tracks enemy movement. Like, Pluto can follow enemies, specifically the Stone Golem, as it, like, moves a little bit. You'll very slightly track it. You saw it a little bit there.
No! But if
Stone
you
Golem
stop
being very
tracking
rude
it,
today.
you will fall out. So that's what's kind of happening is, like, I'm getting into the attack animation, but then if you go a certain, I don't know if it's an amount of time or a number of strikes or what, without locking onto an enemy, then you'll fall out of the hover. Come back, thank you. And so that's why I keep getting, like, falling down on the third one, which obviously is very bad. This is how it's supposed to go.
Yeah, and for some reason, the slam attack, despite visually passing through you, still has no hitbox except on the ground.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. Okay, we got there. Luckily, apparently my PB Stone Golem was really bad too, so we're not losing that much time.
Hey.
Well, still?
It's been a really long time since that PB, so we're kind of learning in real time.
Nice. Shout out to the old Hotfix show, How to Train a Speedrunner.
Let's go. This is another, I don't need to hit those. This is another place where we're going to go get a key that is not intended to be used at the place we use it, but we're going to use it there anyway. Because it's intended to use it here, but instead, we're just going to skip that. And now we can use it at a door coming up that requires 4 keys. We used to skip that first key entirely and just come straight down here, but then we later found out that it's a little bit faster to do it. It's a little bit faster to do it by getting that key before you come down here and then only doing 3 of the keys down here. I didn't skip some dialogue, and those of you who have discerning eyes may have noticed that I clearly could have skipped that dialogue by jumping to the bottom platform, but Jess is here to tell you why I didn't. Why is this not working?
You gotta wait a little bit longer.
I'm in the spot.
But yeah, so really early on, we were given a radio, or walkie-talkie, as it were, from a rabbit, and she asked us, she's hosting a dinner party, and unfortunately she's misplaced her tablecloth, and so we're in her cellar right now, is like the description of where we are. and we're looking for her tablecloth. But unfortunately, Mira also has a lot of anxiety about hosting friends, and so continuously calls you as you're going through her cellar to ask you other questions. You could just grab the.
I don't understand. Oh, I know I can. At that point, it was about the principle of it. I'm like, I never missed this boomerang. I don't understand. That's so weird. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen when I have to do a boomerang skip in a second. That's significantly more important.
But the first phone call, though, that you get from Mira is that she needs to figure out what she's supposed to wear. And your options are to tell her the first option, which is you should wear something fancy, or you could tell her that she could wear, she should wear something fun. And so Happy very politely did do the you should wear something fun option.
Oh?
I know exactly what went wrong.
Did you not pick up the actual dash ability?
Oh my God,
I either
you don't
didn't
have
pick it up
teleport.
or I save and quit too early. But I'll bet you it's still sitting here.
Tower Haunters for dash?
Yeah.
Oh, this is Boomerang. Tower Haunters or dash. Oh, did I just fully forget to do Tower Haunters?
I think so.
Oh, my bad.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's go hang out in the tower then.
Hey.
Should be on quick foot. That's fine. All right, we're just sequence breaking the run a little bit.
We're sequence breaking the sequence break.
Yes, as one does.
That's valid, actually.
It's as
Honestly,
you
the
may...
fact that you could get that far without having the dash is kind of impressive.
Hilarious, honestly. Yeah, you may be noticing that this is west on this one, right? Yeah. You may be noticing that there's a lot to remember. This is a very hard game to talk while also playing. That's why I brought 3 people to do most of the yapping. Hey Grizz. Hey Grizz's orange graffiti. Bye Grizz. Well, this definitely is not going to be a PB, so we can do something more important than a PB.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Have
just
fun.
fully forgot this half of the split. That's wild.
I was gonna say, do you
happens.
not split on Tower Haunters anymore?
Yeah, no, I split on Haunters and I accidentally split on Boomerang, so I'm gonna have to delete that split. But yeah, there's another boss fight we need to do.
But first, Grizz, of course, hands you a spray paint can and is like, let's ruin the place. You have not left yourself much room for the rest of Express here.
I'm also trying to do it very quickly.
They're cooking. They're cooking.
It's like when you start writing a word on a piece of poster board and you don't space the letters out correctly.
We
when you
are
start.
having a time.
Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yay.
Impressive.
Now the boss fight.
GG.
GG Tower Hunters.
Yeah,
GG Tower
GG Hunters.
Something that's strange about having the graffiti can is when you have the graffiti can in your hand still, you're supposed to like spray paint something and then talk to Grizz to start the boss fight because they're spirits haunting the tower and they they get upset that you're graffitiing there. However, when you have the graffiti can in hand, when you hazard out, you can still jump. So Happy just jumped a couple extra times to hit an off-screen load zone to skip the boss.
Nice.
And
There
that was
it
another
is.
boss skip. And
The
there's the fun
t-shirt.
shirt.
Yes, I am a
Oh
rabbit
my
who was born in
God.
May. Get over
Get
it.
over it. It's on fade out. We can split and then
Happy, I need you to get over it.
3. I'm trying. I'm already over it. Now I get to do all the fun stuff because this definitely isn't a PB because of that.
But my
Imagine if
favorite
it were,
thing, though,
I'm
is
honestly
that
kind of glad I made that mistake because now I just get to show you all the fun things.
My favorite thing, though, is that Happy did not know about the different shirt choices because apparently in their casual and fast time, they always said wear something fancy until I was like, did you know that if you tell Mira to wear something fun, she wears this shirt?
I was like, no, but this is the best news of my life, actually. It's so funny. I hate this arena. My kingdom for someone to find a way to skip this arena.
Yeah, unfortunately, even though there's very clearly a platform right above us that seems so jumpable, a gate comes up, blocking it off, and you can't, there's not enough leverage to get around the sides of the gate, and you'd have to go, and like, there's a transition right there, so you can't just fully skip it like we do with some other arenas.
Unfortunately, that gate is very real.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. So it's like probably the one I want to skip the most. All right, I'm gonna do some safety strats here. I'm gonna take that and then just save and quit real quick and go this way into this room because having 1 health sucks.
Yeah, this split is pretty rough with just roaming enemies.
Yeah, we also briefly passed Pebble, who we didn't interact with her in the... She's our first friend. We saved her from the pot of spiders. And she has one of the best lines of dialogue in the game, which I will let Quack share.
It is probably my favorite.
That is the understatement of the century. It's one of the hardest lines of dialogue in any video game, which is when you walk into the shrine where the first boss is. She tells you a little bit about the shrine and then politely informs you that in frog culture, dying is one of the saddest things you can do.
In frog culture, dying is one of the saddest things that could happen to a person. Like,
That's
cool,
it,
thanks,
thank
Pebble. I didn't know that, actually.
So that's what this game is about.
One of the best lines of dialogue in this or any other video game. Anyway,
right.
Asuka, how do you feel about A Night at the Movies?
I am always down for
Ooh,
night
how do you
movies.
feel about horror movies, though?
Absolutely love it. So, like, it's more of like a horror musical rock opera, but explaining finding 10 friends and invading heaven. I immediately thought of The Devil's Carnival.
Fair.
So,
Wow. Deep, but good cut.
I was about to say, to anybody that knows that reference, I love you.
Quack, do you? That feels like Quack content.
No, I thought when Oscar was
you'd
laying out
like
the
it.
description, I thought it was going to be a Repo the Genetic Opera moment.
Yeah, I was also thinking that.
It's the same person.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it is.
So,
I've
yeah.
not heard of Devil's Carnival, but now I have to check it out.
It was very good.
So this is the one yellow key arena that we actually have to do in the entire game. It's the one, like, robustly unskippable gate that actually requires killing all the enemies. But basically, this leg of the game is we need to find 3 film reels that are scattered about in, like, secret side areas off of places we've already been to in order to assemble the final cut of the scariest movie ever made, Ghost Slaughter 3, a film so scary that no one has survived to the end of it.
It's true. This is pretty scary. But don't worry. We will warn you when it's almost time for Ghost Slaughter. So you may avert your eyes if you are temperamental of continence. I don't know. Something they would say at the beginning of Frankenstein. Oh.
Not quite.
Yep.
I went too far. That's the next part. I still need to get the sculptors.
I want to
reel.
be able to jump up there still. I know it's not
I
possible.
know! It just looks like we should be able to skip this room. It's so annoying. But we can skip this room.
Hey.
Thanks, Kyle. Pretty cool of you. You can actually skip this theater gate, but it doesn't matter because you can't skip the other ones, and you need all 3 of them. So you still have to go get the key and everything. So unless we find a way to skip all 3, a skip on one of them is basically worthless in terms of time save. It would just be swag strats.
Yeah,
That one's
and,
another
like,
one where you should do those, like, sliding platforms, but you don't actually have to do the sliding platforms at all. You can just run along the bottom.
That was not it. This is a surprisingly hard skip.
Yeah, this is what I was gonna say. It's one of the more finicky ones in the game. Here's the intended method, which is you can just get that key and then just walk it back after you've done the room once.
And that's better than
like
dying.
like a second of difference. it's truly not much. But I believe it's Ghost Slaughter 3 time.
It is. It's time. We've brought the reels, and our friend Dagobert is like, all right, go see the movie. And since it's not a PB, we might as well watch the film.
Get your popcorn out.
Gives me a second to get water.
Have I ever actually watched this cutscene? I might not have.
I for some reason am not remembering this.
I was about to say,
Like, and I'm pretty sure I
no
did.
recollection.
Ghost Slaughter
Anyway,
3.
Love it. Love it.
Get
a great
Ghost
movie.
Slaughtered.
This is honestly, I think, one of my favorite boss fights, though.
It's a really fun
Yeah,
fight.
no, it's a lot of cool patterns.
Casually, especially, it has really cool patterns and very like stylized attacks.
Yes. And of course, at the halfway point of the fight, Ghost Slaughter 3 takes a moment to show you your own grave, which is metal as all get out.
It's pretty sick, honestly. But we did it. We're the first person to survive the film. And now it's Dagobert time.
I was saying, because of that, Dagobert becomes friends with us.
Yay, Dagobert. Dagobert's like, you must be a real film buff if you can survive Ghost Slaughter 3. We can be homies now.
Right. College at absolute cinema.
Little known
Absolute
fact
cinema.
about film school is that you have to fight a giant monster to graduate.
It's true.
And from here, we get the best quest in any game, which is Pebble is tired, and so we take over Pebble's babysitting duties for some little guys who are new to the afterlife. And that's not me just like making a value judgment about them. Their name is Little Guys.
Yeah, I wish I still had the stream VOD from my casual playthrough of this when I had been calling them the little guys, and then the like befriend them screen pops up and it says Little Guys as their canon name, and I lost my mind. I was so excited. All right, just little safe strats here because I'd rather not die. Can you, sir?
Moonman, weirdly, one of the only bosses that gets much easier for speedrunners on the second phase, because when Moonman's hands are on the arena, that's like he's never away from the arena, so you can always hit him. And that's Little Guys.
Little
Fastest
Guys.
friendship quest from start to finish.
Do I need quick? Yes, I do. Can you get out of the way? Sir! So now we are headed to make another friend. This one is Roy, the shopkeeper. And we've heard good things about Roy. We hear Roy's pretty legit. So we're gonna go see what he's all about. Figure out his story, because he seems like a nice guy.
Sure, and like in the lore, we're going to the shop because we need a light bulb for the Sinner's Inn, which is the like first area hub shop where we got Quickfoot.
I believe so, yeah.
I vaguely remember that being the reason.
For
definitely
Marla.
Bless Marla. That was a gift. Oh, come on. Come on.
Yeah,
there we go.
Even with all of these asides, you should play this game for the story. One of the like side quests that we don't really deal with is you've seen Happy pass by a number of photographs. Each friend has 3 collectible photos that tell the story of how they wound up in the afterlife. If you want to cry and appreciate like all of human and animal kind, collect all of them. It's great.
That's really sweet.
It's so good.
All right. So now we actually find Roy, but he's charging exorbitant prices, which seems out of character for someone who we've heard is a pretty cool dude. So we're
he also doesn't have the light bulb that we're looking for. He says he'll check the back, but not to go through the scary doors in the back because they're off limits. Fun fact, while Happy does another set of absurd skips, is that of the items that get sold in that shop, in addition to being more expensive than you can possibly afford, are all like gag items that aren't really in the game. One of them like adds a splashing sound effect to your walk, and you can't actually buy those items, but I think that's cowardice on Kyle Thompson's part. Let me pick up the Splash SFX.
Let me get the SFX pack, Kyle. All right, so this is another area where we're supposed to do two gates to open a central gate, but we can open one of them and then skip the second one, and I actually need to do this real quick. And then it's boss fight time. So
this is the door that we were really, really told not to go through, so of course.
Well,
Not
we have to go
allowed.
through it.
We are going to go through it.
we love breaking rules. We're a rebel. Turns out Roy was not charging us exorbitant prices. Roy was in a bit of a pickle. Roy has been replaced by an imposter.
Among Us. Wait.
And one of the ways that we do figure out that he's an imposter is because, like, one of the photos, right, is like, oh, he has, like, too many legs or something. Like, and definitely not this.
On. You know?
Yeah, but so
This is my own fault because earlier in practice, I thought, wow, I'm getting pretty good at hovers. I've been getting them like first try every time today. And anyone who's a speedrunner knows, as soon as you feel good about yourself, your game will humble you.
And at the end of the fight here, we have a very important question.
Oh, crap.
Asuka, choose wisely.
Which one's the imposter?
I can't tell.
It's red. It's red.
Let me flip a coin. Left?
Oh, thank goodness.
Nicely done.
God.
Nice
You
work,
should have hit
Oscar.
the right anyways.
Whew, that was
This
a close
is
one.
our last ability pickup
7, right?
of the Metroidvania aspect of this game, right?
Yes, dig is our last pickup. But it is not the last new ability that we'll show you because we are about to show off probably my favorite ridiculous tech that exists in this run.
Oh, true. So we dig into this, we'll call it like back tower or deep tower because it's still technically a part of the tower area despite having a different like environment. But we just get to cutscene introducing us to our final friend, Whaler.
There is a way to skip this gate, but it's so hard that it's just not worth it.
It's so hard and it's like a fraction of a second faster, right?
It's a bad angle. Oh, I shouldn't have done that though, because now I'm gonna have to talk to Whaler. But oh well.
It's all right. Whaler's gonna tell us that he's really sad.
Yeah, that's so sad. That's it. It's what it says on the tin, really.
Real.
Just like me for real.
Hey, wait,
Tell it like it is.
Personality quiz, but it's which Crypt Custodian
that it?
afterlife
No.
friend are you?
Bad angle.
All right, so what Happy's setting up here is if you throw a boomerang into a bubble, it carries the bubble forwards a little bit, and then you can dash into it,
nice.
but,
That
and the
skips,
boomerang
like,
still pushes the bubble.
Several minutes.
Yeah,
That was a
it's-
massive
it's-
skip.
was huge when it was first found.
Yeah.
There are a couple other places early in the run that are like some very marginal time saves, but that's the big one.
Yeah, there's
When
other.
you throw the boomerang into the bubble, your angle is locked in though, which is why we had to like make sure to set it up precisely.
There is one in this room. There's a new boomerang strap, but I have not learned it yet.
I find this one easier than the other one.
Oh, word. Maybe I'll put some time into it soon.
I love the concept of you digging through this breakable platform that's maybe like a few inches thick. Like, my physics-addled brain is very confused right now. I love it.
Is this like the
Kendra,
first time we
this is-
actually talked to Kendra? Because we skip her dialogue so much.
I mean,
Yeah.
there is the intro of the game.
Other than like the
Yeah.
tutorial, yeah.
Kendra periodically pops up to tell you, like, you better not be making friends and trying to break into my palace.
Oh, oops.
We do a lot of basically being like, no,
Nope.
Like, I'm for sure not doing anything wrong.
You can't prove anything. She's
What are
like,
you at?
okay. Meanwhile,
Pay no mind to the best friends bracelets I have.
yeah, hide my friendship bracelets.
And Ocean's 11 style plans.
Yeah.
The Ocean's 11 style plan being
Oh, that is
orange
really
cap
unlucky.
dig tunnel.
Ugh.
I
I don't know that
think,
I've ever gotten that attack first. That sucks.
Yeah. This
Yeah, so-
is probably the de facto final boss of the run. Definitely a major run killer. The grief fight has
I've
a
also
lot
never
of
gotten
attacks.
this pattern. Like, what?
Yeah, including an ad spawn. Has a lot of attacks that take it off screen, partially or fully, or covers the full ground. Like dash attack spamming here can get you sort of caught by other attacks or by the ad that it spawns.
Who I'm going to go kill because I'm in danger. Yeah, I'm just taking this very safe because redoing it sounds awful.
Yeah.
Respect.
Especially because unlike most bosses, there isn't, there's like a heal thing on easy, but there is no actual save point right in front of
Yeah.
the boss, so it's a meaningful walk back. This is a real run killer. That's why he's the de facto final boss.
He's also the actual final boss.
Well, I mean, we were getting to the
Spoilers, Happy.
Spoilers.
oh, good news. We have 10 friends now.
Yay!
Well, he's not
Time to
actually the
invade
final
heaven.
boss.
Imagine having 10 friends.
But he's the final boss before, like, the BBEG.
Yeah. So
Mira's still
something-
wearing the shirt, by
Yeah,
the way,
she
too.
is. She's the best.
Yeah, she
Makes me
is.
so happy.
So something that's important to note:
Wait, our
did
art
the
wasn't
graffiti
there.
not?
Did the graffiti
Did the
not?
graffiti not?
No,
I
because
think
we
if
didn't do
you-
the fight. I think.
Oh, 'cause we
it's the
skipped
same.
the
It doesn't
fight.
save unless you do
Yes.
the fight. That sucks. Oh well.
That's so funny.
was still fun.
It's supposed Kendra's supposed to steal your graffiti and frame it as a painting in in the palace, which is hysterical. But I guess you don't get that anymore.
Let me just make sure I have the right upgrades and stuff, because this is the actual final boss, so I want to make sure I've got healed and got everything put together so we can do it. All right.
Spoilers: the final boss is Kendra. You can tell from all of the Kendra iconography here. Also,
Spoilers,
spoilers,
we
we
skip
skipped
it.
the final
we
boss.
don't do
Anyway, here's the escape sequence. Time is coming up as soon as Happy disappears fully into the mirror at the end of this escape sequence. Play the game if you want to know how it ends for real.
It's a really fun final boss fight. I do recommend.
There's
I
also
recommend
a
playing this
boss
game
rush
in general.
mode.
It's just fun.
There is a boss rush mode.
There is.
And like eventually we'll actually get some hundo runs or like make all bosses a category.
I
so you
have
have to fight the
hundo-
final boss.
I have Hundo like mapped and routed out. I just need to actually like practice it and write the notes for it. But Demon and I routed it,
Nice.
so it does exist. Hundo real.
I
probably gonna run
helped
it
with
soon.
that route because there was a skip. Demon was like, I don't know if this is worth it because I can't land it. And then I just did it and it was funny.
All right, time coming up when we
Go, go,
get
go.
soaked into the mirror and fades to black. Time.
GG.
GG. And then we can do shoutouts while we watch this end cutscene because
Yeah,
there's
go
no
for it.
dialogue, so we're not interrupting
Tearjerker
anything.
warning.
Yeah, tearjerker warning. But yeah, hi, I'm
Probably
Happy
hits
by
harder if
3.
you played the game.
Thank you so much, Asuka, for having me. I always love being on Express Lane. Asuka's a good hang. If you want to see more of this, now that I've de-rusted it and remembered how fun it is, I'm probably going to run this game more. So I'm going to be grinding to try and get a better time on this and hopefully get the first sub 40 eventually. And I will also be grinding to try and get Skate Horse world record because I don't have a great sense of self-preservation. So if you want to see either of those grinds, I will be streaming a little more frequently coming up here on Twitch at Happy by 3. Couch friends, where can they find you?
Because we're doing the
I'll
same
take-
order as before.
No, go Birch.
I'm Professor Birch. You can find me at most places on the internet, including Twitch at Professor Birch. And I may or may not return to this game at some point.
I'm Quack. You can find me on the first Saturday of every month, except perhaps next month, because I think I'm actually a week or two later because of other events, on the GDQ Hotfix on a show called Make Your Own Victory. Watch the whole Hotfix roster. Y'all, we added 2 new shows this season. They're both amazing. Every show is great. I love speedrunning. That's me.
And hi, I'm the Valiant Son, but you can also call me Jess. I might have to get back into this game, but I'm on I mostly speedrun Stardew Valley, but I've been on a Metroidvania kick, so I'm doing my best.
And give us a wonderful shout out for that adorable kitty.
Oh yeah, I figured I should show off my Pluto. That's my cat, Pepper. His government name is Emperor Palpatine is my dad. And he's my cat.
Nice. Well, cheese to all of you. That was an absolutely amazing run. I love it. All of you are goods and are just so fun to have on. So thank you for coming on. And everybody give GG's one more time to Happy and crew for that amazing run. But unfortunately, my animals are sleeping somewhere, snoring peacefully, and I think that's time for me to take the same cue and get some sleep myself. So if you missed out on any of Awfully Silly or Express Lane today, do not worry, because right after this, we're just going to replay the shows for you so you can take a look and watch some really fun speedruns. But for tomorrow, tune in at 7 p.m. Eastern for our wonderful episodes of Crosshair, followed by Speedruns from the Crypt. So I will see you in 2 weeks. And until then, I'm Oscar424. I'll see you on the Express.